Performance Toyota Superstore invites you to save. Money, that is. Overstocked pre-owned vehicles have forced us to wholesale direct to you. Our loss is your gain. Everything is on sale. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Every deal will be made. Keep your stimulus check and just show up and drive. If you want it, we've got it. Every style, every color, every model. It's used cars for everyone. Only at your Performance Toyota Superstore. Go to performancetoyotastore.com.
Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we welcome you in up on the roof on the top of Kumler Field's press box for high school football week 3 in Butler County, Ohio. Tonight's contest is a GCL co-ed slobber knocker between the Chaminade Julienne Eagles and the Badin Rams. Greetings, everybody. I'm Joel Sackenheim, along with hashtag Dentist Dan, the good Dr. Dan Vogt. Dan, we got a Badin game to call tonight.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
All right, so Badin Rams, we've seen a lot of their football games of the year. Both of us, full disclosure, are Badin graduates. We're going to try to be as objective tonight as we can, obviously.
Yes, we will.
Badin last year started off 0-2 with losses to Ross and to Talawanda, and then everything changed from there.
Yes, Badin was trying to do a strong running game in the Terry Malone tradition. Then they switched to a wide-open spread offense, threw the ball, and they caught fire, and the rest of the season, as we say, was history.
They ended up 7-3 last year after all was said and done. I believe the only loss they had was to Chaminade Julienne, going all the way into the playoffs there. CJ comes into this game rebuilding a little bit.
Yes, they only have 6 seniors on their team right now.
6 seniors.
Yeah, we talked to the coach. Looks like we have the national anthem coming up.
Let's see what Dirk Allen's got saying for us. We're going to try. We're going to have pregame prayer, and we're going to, looks like, have national anthem. We're going to try to get this over the air for you guys to be able to hear.
Okay.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Lord, thank you for bringing 2 members of the Notre Dame learning community together on the field of play tonight, Chaminade, Julienne, and Badin High Schools. As we bless our country on this anniversary weekend of 9/11, we thank you for your greatness and all of the grace you bestow on our schools. Help our teams play well, be unselfish team members, and use our skills and talents in a positive manner as we recognize that all of our gifts come from you. Help us deal with disappointment and loss, as well as victory and success. Lord, it is our firm intention that our efforts be ever pleasing to you. In Jesus' name we pray. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen.
Amen.
Star-Spangled Banner piped through the sound system here at Kumler Field. All right, here's what you need to know about the Chaminade Julienne Eagles. And Dan, you already said only 6 seniors.
That's right.
On this team. They went 8-2 last year behind quarterback Ryan Miner. They beat Badin 17-3. It was Badin's only loss in their last 8 games of the regular season leading up into the playoffs.
And it really wasn't like Chaminade dominated and beat Badin there. Badin had a couple critical turnovers in the game. Badin moved the ball freely up and down the field the entire game. Very much a frustrating effort for the Rams as they, had a fumble there and an interception, and it proved their undoing.
Well, only 3 points on the board.
That's true.
But the offensive performance should have been better than 3 points had it not been for a couple of key red zone turnovers in that game last year.
Yes, and I think Badin, having a lot of seniors on our team this year, they remember that quite well, and they want to inflict some revenge today. So we'll see what happens.
If they do it, it's going to be behind a new quarterback because just like Ryan Miner having graduated for Chaminade Julienne, Zach Schweitzer has graduated from Badin. I mean, I guess kids do tend to do that after 4 years.
That's right.
And enter in Landon Vitterick.
Landon Vitterick, he's #1 passing right now in the GCL. Well, if he throws for 92 yards tonight,
he will be again.
Yeah, he will be up there.
Baden's played 2 games and everybody else has played 3. Go on.
That's right. And Chaminade's quarterback is a new one this year too. His name is Luke Chandler. He's 4th in the GCL in passing. Landon is 3rd.
And again, he'll also climb up the list a little bit, depending on his
will.
passing numbers tonight, because you're competing against teams like Carroll that have already played 3 games instead of just 2.
I guess the best true barometer would be average per game. That's what you really need to go by.
Well, Dirk Allen, you may have heard in the pregame prayer mentioning the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur. We're going to talk at halftime a little bit. You got an old history teacher here, a little bit about the French Revolution and how that all ties into both of these high schools. It's really interesting how it all works into play. But with that commonality between Badin and CJ, they also have something else in common, and that is having a nemesis in Kettering Alter. Badin beat Alter last week 14-12. They punched through last year for the very first time in 22 attempts.
Oh, yes.
Huge monkey off the back for Coach Jordy and for the Badin program, and they knocked him out again into the playoffs. CJ was not so lucky with Alter last year. CJ already had the #1 seed basically wrapped up coming into the last game of the season, and one of the very big rivalries, for those of you that are in the Dayton area listening, you know, Alter and Chaminade Julienne traditionally play each other in Week 10 every year as a big rivalry game. That game took place on CJ's field last year, and Alter knocked them off 35-28. So weird season for Alter, losing to Badin for the first time since '99, losing to Carroll for the first time since '02, and then getting themselves back up off the mat to go into the #1 seed CJ, knocked them off with their playoff hopes on the line, kept their consecutive playoff streak going, and for their reward, Alter last year got to go right back into the same stadium to play the #1 seed Chaminade Julienne. That game was a 10-7 final. Alter knocked them off. And at the end of the game, CJ had driven the ball down the field. I believe they had a 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. And instead of kicking the field goal and taking the thing to overtime, they elected to go ahead and call a rollout pass. I saw this on Twitter. It's one of the saddest things. I'm sorry to rub salt in the wound, CJ fans out there listening. Ryan Miner had a little bit of a play-action fake, and he had a wide-open path as the quarterback toward the left pylon, but he had a tight end making a crossing route in the end zone. He never took his eyes off of his receiver. Instead of looking for the pylon that was open, threw it across his body. The ball got intercepted by an Alter linebacker in the end zone. That ended Chaminade Julienne's season and sent Alter to play Badin in the second round, where, of course, the Badin Rams took them out of the playoffs in somewhat convincing fashion.
Yes, they did. We were talking with the coach about that playoff game last year, and you could tell it was still it was still bothering him a little bit. So
that sting will not go away for quite a little bit of time here. We were going to take this back to commercial and then back out, as the clock still has less than a minute ticking down here. But both teams are lining up on the field. So, Dan, I think they're going to try to get this thing going sooner rather than later.
Yes, they are.
And the referee's actually asking for the clock to be reset, and that's going to happen. So the Badin Rams win the coin toss.
They defer to the second half.
That's correct. And Chaminade Julienne is going to get the ball first. We have Michael Schweinefest putting the ball on the tee on the 40-yard line for the Rams. Badin is going to be kicking the ball going in a southward direction, defending the north end zone here at Kumler Field. And the CJ Eagles will be headed in the direction of Ohio 73, going toward the north. Deep guys for the Eagles. We have DeJuan Lamb and Keon Owens. And Keon Owens is the leading receiver for the CJ Eagles. You're going to hear his name probably a lot for Chaminade's offense tonight. So Schweinefest is ready. Dirk Allen is ready. And we're ready. Off we go. High kick up to about the 13-yard line. Keon Owens receives the ball. He's going to run past the 25, looking for a couple of blocks, gets out to around the 30-yard line. Decent return there for Chaminade Julienne, Dan.
Yeah, Bob Young on a tackle there. He's a senior for Badin.
So here come the gentlemen from the former Chaminade and Julienne high schools wearing their road whites, Dan.
Yeah, Badin is wearing their green home jerseys with the white letters.
Kelly
Chaminade,
green.
Yes, Kelly green. And Chaminade is probably the symmetrical opposite. Badin with the white pants, Chaminade with the green pants, Chaminade with the white shirts with the green numbers.
Okay. Under center, not under center. That's a tight end there. We have a pistol formation for the quarterback, Luke Chandler. Chandler does an RPO to Owens on the right side. That was a fake handoff to the running back. I think he read that, actually. Pulled the ball. The receiver had plenty of room there on the right sideline. Threw a little quick pass there. 11 yards and a first down, Dan.
Yeah, Max Lauer with the tackle there on the sidelines. A nice play to start out for Chaminade. A nice 10-yard play. 11 yards maybe.
That's a play you run also to set up something later in the game. With Lauer over there on defense, he's giving plenty of cushion to Keon Owens. He obviously does not want to get beat over the top. Owens can be fast as lightning.
Yes,
but
he was.
The more room you give him, the more of those little 11-yard gains you might be able to get. Keon Owens goes in motion, and he's going to actually take the handoff. Jet sweep around the left tackle, and he's going to push it forward for about 7 yards.
Nice play.
Offensive line, Dan. CJ moving some bodies.
Yes, they are. Showing it early here.
Chaminade Julienne has the ball now at their own 49-yard line as they approach midfield. Center has the ball. Center number 53. That's Landon Weiss.
They're not messing around. They're quick up to the line. They're in a hurry up kind of.
Pistol formation. We have a tight end and a wide out on the right side of the line. Two wide receivers on the right side of the line. Sorry, the left side has the tight end. Another RPO. Quick little button hook pass. Complete to number 12, J.P. Peltier.
Great pronunciation on that Peltier.
Another French pronunciation. We're going to talk a lot about France tonight, Dan.
You will. I won't.
Can get you a little history lesson at halftime, right?
Yes, you will.
First down and 10 for the Eagles at the Badin 46-yard line. And a man jumps off there. That is number 69 for Badin, Dane Lauer.
Dane Lauer jumped off. It was a good cadence by the quarterback. Just drew him right off.
And so it's going to be 1st and 5 now for CJ. The referee moves the beanbag 5 yards up the field. For those of you that have not been able to get to a high school football game this year, the centers are actually handling the ball. The referees are not touching the football. And so they're laying a beanbag on where the ball gets placed. The center is breaking the huddle with the ball, and that is Warrior for the Eagles. Shotgun formation now with the running back alongside of Chandler. Man in motion.
Oh, fumble.
And you hear Dirk Allen saying, the ball is on the ground. DeJuan Lamb was the slot receiver on that play. He was in motion. The shotgun snap went to Chandler. It was an attempted flip forward.
Yeah,
and
it was
referees,
like a touch pass, they'd call it.
They're talking about it. I didn't get a clear look at that. That could have been an incomplete pass. If we had it on television, we'd show you the replay and see if that actually was an incomplete pass, or maybe he never got the snap cleanly. If he never got the snap cleanly, it's a fumble. If he got the snap cleanly and then kind of shoved it forward, it should have been ruled an incomplete pass. But regardless, it is ruled a fumble. Badin Rams have the ball. Fortunate break for Nick Yorty's club as Landon Vitterick and the boys from 571 New London Road come out to take the field on offense. Running back John Rawlings, Dallas Rawlings, next to him, and the handoff is indeed to Rawlings. And Rawlings going to run forward for 2 yards. Danny, if Dallas Rawlings scores tonight, we will be able to reiterate the old Pat Summerall line of
touchdown Dallas. Then you could go into some
John Madden spiel about needing Brett Favre, right?
Yes. Yeah, do a little John. We can do, Madden Summerall. That would be fabulous.
4 wide receiver formation for the Rams. Landon Vitterick in the pistol formation with Rawlings behind him, and now Rawlings shifts over to the left side of the quarterback to make it a true shotgun. Man in motion comes through. Touch pass to Lucas Moore. Lucas Moore, leader of Badin Rams and the GCL in receiving, but he's not going to get any yards after the catch here. He has stopped right at the line of scrimmage, may have lost 1 yard.
He was in motion. It was a little jet sweep, and he did lose a yard. It's going to set up an important 3rd and 7 here for Badin.
Did you happen to catch the eagle that made the tackle there, Dan?
No, I did not. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It happens to all of us.
3rd and 7. We're at the 48-yard line on Badin's side of the field here.
We are below 10 minutes now left to go in the first quarter of play. Badin and Chaminade Julienne. Shotgun. Go ahead.
Go ahead. 4 wideouts here. Badin back to throw.
Landon over to Lucas Moore. Catches the ball 7 yards short of the first down marker. Weasels his way through a couple of tackles, picks up about 14 yards, and that is going to be enough for a first down for the Badin Rams.
And Max Lauer on the tackle. I'm sorry.
Got to get the CJ guy, right?
Yes, Ethan Fernandez.
Ethan
the sophomore
Fernandez. Yeah, if
on the
Max
tackle.
Lauer would have tackled him, that would have been really interesting.
That would have been great.
Try to pull that one off, right? Ball goes to the 41-yard line of Chaminade. Julienne. Badin is now across midfield here in the first quarter. Their first offensive drive of the game. CJ started and turned the ball over for those that are joining us late. Joel Sackenheim, Danny Vogt, glad to have you with us. The handoff goes up the middle to Dallas Rawlings. And Dallas Rawlings actually coughs the ball up, but the referees are blowing the whistle and pointing to the ground, which means his knee hit first and he is down by contact.
Mitch on a tackle for the Eagles.
Okay. So we now have a 2nd down and 8 for the Badin Rams. CJ's defense, pretty good so far?
Yeah, they're looking pretty good. The last 3rd down conversion, it was just a good effort by Badin. He put a couple moves on him. He was short of the first down marker, but he got past it.
All right. So 2nd down and 8 for the Badin Rams. Landon Vitterick takes the shotgun snap. Looking to the left.
He's open.
Out route and off the hands of Braden Moore. Moore was the slot receiver on the play, took about 2 steps forward and ran sideways out to the sideline, and the ball just off of his fingertips.
Ethan Fernandez was out there on the coverage. He might have looked up and looked at Ethan a little bit and took his eye off the ball.
Chaminade Julienne's helmets, Dan, a little Philadelphia-like?
Yeah, like the old Eagles. They got the green with the Eagles on the side, the wing. Very classic.
Only thing really different is instead of silver tips, you got a little purple-tipped wing action going on. Naked blitz coming on, and Van Frederick is scrambling, and he is not going to get out of the grasp of David Frederick Jr.
David Frederick Jr., he showed his speed there running down the quarterback. It looked like it was doomed from the beginning for Badin there. Nice call by the defense.
He is one of those aforementioned 6 seniors that Chaminade Julienne brings with them to the game tonight. Several guys out today for CJ. 3 guys injured. Another guy, Ben Saunders, senior, is actually a soccer player. And the coach says a pretty good kicker, but not today because he's playing a soccer game right now. Vitterick looked like he was going back to punt. Now he comes up under center on 4th and 12. And now he's going to run backwards another 15 yards to line up back in punt formation. A little bit of a chess game going on there between Badin and CJ. Vitterick is going to punt the ball. That's a nice punt, but he might have outkicked it. It's going to land on the 4-yard line and bounce into the end zone for a touchback. We're going to be back here at Kumler Field in a moment. 7:23 left to go in the first quarter. Badin and CJ scoreless.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features.
Back here at Kumler Field, Luke Chandler takes the field for his second offensive possession with the CJ offense. They're at their own 20 after the touchback. This is a pass play to Owen. Lauer on the coverage and kind of shoves him out of bounds, wrestles him out of bounds. Not enough for a first down, but a good solid gain on first down, Dan.
Yeah, we're seeing Chaminade. They're just not running the ball at all. They're just doing short sideline patterns out at the side, getting 5, 6, 7 yards. And if they can keep doing that, why would they need to run?
Badin's defense is giving lots of respect to these Eagles receivers. You got J.P. Peltier on one side and Keon Owens on the other side. And Nick Yorty said to us before the game, athletes all over the field for Chaminade Julienne.
Absolutely, but I think Badin, if they don't show any running, Badin might cheat a little bit and get a little closer and jump one of these routes. We'll see what happens.
That's where you get either a pick 6 or a get beat over the top on a double move.
That's
Owens
right.
in motion, handoff up the middle. First running play of the game for Chaminade Julienne. That is Walter Sledge III. And Walter Sledge III has all his sisters with him, right?
He ran the sledgehammer there.
Thank you, Peter Gabriel.
You're welcome.
2-yard gain for the sledgehammer.
Let's see here. We got 3rd and 1, Joel. Let's see if they, set up for an obvious run or they're going to spread it wide.
We'll see what formation they run. Chandler is in the shotgun. Not a lot of under center for either one of these teams. One single receiver out on either side. 2 men coming in motion to the right side of the line. Look for a run to the right side, possibly with Sledge, and there it is.
Oh.
Handoff goes Sledge. He ducks underneath.
He's
pops
running
off
like
a couple tackles,
sledgehammer.
and actually that was not Sledge, that was the spell halfback, David Frederick Jr., who made the good play on the defense, the sack on the last drive, and Frederick Jr. runs it out for a first down, gains about 8 yards on the play.
Yeah, Bob Young on a tackle there. Eli Emmons also on a tackle.
Eli Emmons, the pride of St. Anne's.
There you go.
He's got an older brother named Ethan that graduated, I believe, last year.
Is that Danny Emmons' son?
I think so.
He's
Eli
my
is a
age.
junior this year.
Yep.
Pistol formation for Chandler. Got a slant route to
There
Keon
you
Owens, and
go.
he's loose, and no one's going to touch him.
Keon Owens is flying down the field.
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to at least the end zone here in the first quarter. Touchdown, Chaminade, Julienne.
Quick slant. He just shot through the middle, and he was gone. You could just see the speed and the athleticism right there, Joel.
He beat Lauer in coverage. He had the safety looking to make a move on him. He ducked his slant just underneath the safety, caught the ball, outran the safety, and then once he got past the safety, there was nobody who was going to catch him in a foot
61
race.
yards.
Oh, my goodness. That is athletic ability, and Chaminade Julienne takes the lead, 6-0, extra point pending. The kicker, Chad Baird, sophomore out there to kick for CJ. He's up, and he is good, so no worries for the Eagles about their starting kicker being at a soccer game today. Chaminade Julienne has a 7-0 lead here at Kumler Field. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Performance Toyota Superstore invites you to save. Money, that is. Overstocked pre-owned vehicles have forced us to wholesale direct to you. Our loss is your gain. Everything is on sale. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Every deal will be made. Keep your stimulus check and just show up and drive. If you want it, we've got it. Every style, every color, every model. It's used cars for everyone. Only at your Performance Toyota Superstore. Go to performancetoyotastore.com.
Back here at Kumler Field, Chaminade Julienne, 61-yard touchdown pass. Keon Owens, Dan?
Keon Owens.
Looked like Jesse Owens. Dude can sprint.
He was flying.
He's only a junior, so Badin Ram fans, you're going to get to deal with him again next year.
That's not good for Badin fans. Great for Chaminade
Great
fans.
for Chaminade, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, they lost so many seniors last year, and we're going to find out a lot tonight as far as whether they rebuilt or reloaded. And there obviously is a difference in between the two. Interesting kickoff formation. All
They're gonna
11
spread
guys
here,
in
you
a
watch.
straight line here, clumped up. And here comes now the spread.
Yes, they did.
All right. So now the guys are still spread out. They're still not covering the full field.
No,
Only
they're
about
not.
half of it, maybe a little more than half. And here comes the kicker, Baird, kicking it off deep. He's got Lauer. Lauer receives it at the 8-yard line. He's running toward the left, looking to pick up a couple blockers. Couple more blockers.
Nice
He's out
run
past
back.
the 30 and out to the 35-yard line. Good field position for Badin for this drive.
Yeah, that's where not spreading yourself wide on a kickoff kind of hurt CJ a little bit.
Well,
because he ran immediately wide there.
You can see it, can't you?
Yes, you
Lauer
can.
caught that ball, and he knew exactly where he was going to go.
Well, we could see it because we're up on the roof, but Lauer has good field vision. He saw it himself.
My goodness. This game brought to you by Performance Toyota. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota and Matandy Steel, proud sponsor of Badin High School athletics. Dan, it's a pleasure to be with you calling a Badin game after all these years. How about
The
it?
weather is perfect.
Oh, my goodness. The sun is set. Handoff up the middle. Goes to number 20, Jonathan Walsh. I believe he's a Queen of Peace kid. He's going to run it out about 8 yards to the 43-yard line.
And Jeremiah Tanksley, the senior, one of their few seniors, on the tackle.
And sorry, Jack, I know it says Jonathan on the roster here. I heard Dirk Allen call you by your name, Jack, and I remember when I had you probably as a, kindergartner or first grader in Shannon Neiman's gym
Walsh-
class at QP.
Walsh showed good quickness on the play.
Man in motion. Fake, and then handoff back to Walsh. And Jack stretches the ball out for a first down. He saw that yellow line that's not even on the field, Dan.
Yes. I'll tell you, Chaminade doesn't have many seniors, but we're calling them all night. We have David Frederick Jr., another senior on the tackle.
The linebacker, he's been everywhere. Made 3 good plays already for the Eagles. Jack Walsh picks up the first down there. He had about 2 yards and was kind of suspended in the air and just stretched that ball out for a yard. Just made sure he had that first down. And indeed, 1st and 10 for Badin at their own 46-yard line. Landon Viderick has a man now coming in motion, and he's looking for the man in motion. Possibly double pass here. They're not going to try it. Wow.
Nice
Great
defense.
tackle. Oh, my goodness. The receiver was Braden Moore.
There is Jeremiah Tanksley hitting him like a Sherman Tanksley on the play.
Thanks you very much, CJ's defense. Yes. The man in motion was Braden Moore, and Viderick caught the ball and immediately threw it out there parallel to the line of scrimmage. Might have been a backward pass. Could have statistically been a running play there. And Tanksley read that right away, was not fooled. Loss of 5 on the play. 2nd and 15 now for the Kelly Green Badin Rams. The Kelly Green looks good, Dan, doesn't it?
It's classic. What can you
my
say?
Goodness.
Badin has 5 wideouts. Obviously a pass here.
Into the shortest man, the guy closest in the slot, who fumbles the ball but out of bounds. That's Lucas Moore that made the catch. And again, it was a very quick one-step drop where they snapped the ball back to Viderick, and he immediately looked left and flipped it over to Lucas Moore, just trying to get him out in space, Dan.
Yes, Tyree Callahan Jr. with the hard hit, knocking the ball out of bounds for Chaminade.
Both offenses seem to not want to play this game between the tackles, but rather just get the ball out and try to get some one-on-one matchups amongst the skill players.
Yeah, it's almost like they're afraid to go up the middle either way.
You're not seeing a whole lot of up-the-middle running for either team. Roll out now for Viderick on 3rd and 8. He's got a man, Lucas Moore. He's right about at the sticks, but had to come backwards to get the ball by about a yard, and he is tackled out of bounds right away on that play.
He's a little short, Joel.
Referees, this might be one of the very few times a referee is trying to spot a ball not on a yard line. This might be about at a half-yard line. They've got it about at the the 44.5 across midfield. We might even get a measurement here.
Yeah.
We've not had many measurements all year.
Badin's coaches, though, they're asking for a measurement.
A referee actually just touched a football. Do you believe that?
Oh, my gosh.
Look out.
Hey, they're not wearing masks tonight either. Did you notice that?
The referees?
Well, none of them are.
Yeah,
out there.
it's true. None of them are. They've got them kind of around their necks. A couple of them do, but they've not really put them up.
No.
The chains are all the way on the other side of the field, and they are going to bring them out. We mentioned COVID. Tonight, we've got Gary Schweitzer in the house. He is one of the official Ohio graders. I don't know if it's an employee of the Ohio Department of Health or of the OHSAA, but he is here checking on the COVID protocols. And we were told that throughout the years, there'll be a few different representatives of the state that are going to be checking on compliance issues.
The fans are definitely all complying, wearing the masks.
We see a lot of masks
6
down
feet
there.
apart.
Yep, a lot of social distancing. Stretching out the ball. We're not going to be able to see it because of the Badin bench because it's right there by their sideline. Yordy's looking closely.
Oh, it's
that
about
is very close.
Yeah, 6 inches. 6 inches.
The referee, when he doesn't put the whole hand up but instead puts 2 fingers up, one on either hand, you know that it's a close distance here.
It's about the size of a hot dog and a Skyline cheese coney.
Oh,
you
there
know,
you go.
those half a hot dogs.
Oh, those are good. Those
are
are
they're
good.
delicious. But they're not a full hot dog, as you know.
So this will be one of the very few times a referee is spotting a football. And he does spot the ball here. And it is, not a lot of chain links between where the ball is being marked and where the stick is.
And you know what my classic call is here,
Oh,
Joel?
I know you love the quarterback sneak, Dan.
The quarterback sneak right behind the center. He can just fall and get the first down.
Well, Landon Viderick will see Badin's offense. We didn't see a lot of quarterback sneaking when Dave Worth was the coach. Now they're going to throw the ball back to the sideline and have the center bring it up and place it on the beanbag. You might be able to place it where the first down marker is. When you only need a couple of chain links here.
They're winding the clock. We have 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Here we go.
Viderick under center.
Quarterback sneak.
He's
right.
running.
Oh, my
He's
goodness.
got about 5 yards.
9 yards, Joel.
Oh, my gosh.
It
He
was
just
a
kept
quick,
going.
It was a quick snap. He totally caught CJ. I mean, he just went up there and took a quick snap. I don't even think the offensive lineman knew that it was a quick snap.
Dan, you're right. That was a 9-yard gain on quarterback sneak.
That's unbelievable. That's why it's my favorite play.
Oh, my God. Viderick just took it, and nobody else moved. He just ran it right up the middle.
it
Like
was
backyard
great.
school football there.
It was tremendous.
Dallas Rawlings, the running back, next to Viderick in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers. Looking left, hitting the out route. That would be Braden Moore. He's going to wiggle his way, bounce off a
Nice
couple guys.
running.
He's still standing past the first down marker. He's out to the 22-yard line. great Ram toughness.
Jalil Twitty, another senior on Chaminade with the tackle.
I thought I tore a Ram. I did. I did tee a Ram.
Nice.
He's an Eagle. That makes him the Twitty Bird, right, Dan?
That's right. Max Lauer was out there, and he avoided blocking in the back.
That's
it was
good.
A smart play. He kind of
important.
put his hands up like, I'm not blocking here.
Very important drive for Badin to say we're in this game, too, after CJ scored on that break-open play. Up the middle, Dallas Rawlings. He's got a seam. He's got 10 yards. He's inside the 10-yard line and tackled at about the 7-yard line for the Rams. First and goal. Can't really see who got the tackle. I didn't see it either, Dan. Don't worry. Dallas Rawlings picks up about 13 or so on that run. Good run between the tackles.
Yes. Badin trying to make a comeback statement here after the beautiful play by CJ.
And now we've got a couple of tight ends in, as well as 2 receivers to the left side of the formation. Badin going from left to right across your computer screen. Man goes in motion to the right side of the line. The handoff is to Rawlings.
Spin move.
Spin move. Driving his feet inside the 5.
Running
Still continuing
hard.
to go. The rugby scrum is open. Braden Imhoff actually tried to push him as a receiver, give him a little shove going forward as CJ's defenders were trying to send him backwards. Finally, equilibrium point reaches about the 4-yard line, and that's where the referees go ahead and blow the whistle.
All that work there. Great description, Joel, for just a 2-yard gain, basically. Clock is running.
Second and goal from the 6-yard line.
What do you think, Badin? Just keep pounding the rock here? You think they're going to throw?
It's very difficult to know exactly what to do. I think a spread formation and handoffs at the middle gives you a pretty decent chance. But obviously, misdirection would be nice here. Maybe a read
slot
option.
Left here, slot left. Here we go.
Handoff goes to Jack Walsh. Up
Jack
the middle,
Walsh.
tucks it in, stretches the ball out just like he did on the previous carry that he had earlier in the drive, and lands into the end zone for a
touchdown, Badin.
Touchdown, Rams.
We got to save that for Dallas.
You got to save that for Dallas. Dallas
Absolutely.
Rawlings, that's right. So it looks like we've got David Schweinefus as the holder, and the place kicker is going to be Joseph Harding, looking with an attempt with 1:54 left to tie this game up here in the first quarter of play. Snap, hold, kick, up.
It is
and good. Badin Rams 7. Chaminade Julienne Eagles 7.
1:54 left in the first quarter.
And we'll be right back in this GCL clash from Kumler Field.
Performance Toyota Superstore invites you to save. Money, that is. Overstocked pre-owned vehicles have forced us to wholesale direct to you. Our loss is your gain. Everything is on sale. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Every deal will be made. Keep your stimulus check and just show up and drive. If you want it, we've got it. Every style, every color, every model. It's used cars for everyone. Only at your Performance Toyota Superstore. Go to performancetoyotastore.com.
Michael Schweinefus is the one that kicked off to start the game here. Minute 54 left to go in the first quarter of play, and we got a 7-7 ball game. And here comes Harding, and he kicks a short little squib kick, caught by one of the up men for CJ around the 35-yard line. He doesn't go down. He stumbles ahead.
He ran like a fullback. Absolutely.
That was Carson Swisher. And he swishes his way for about 10 yards and gets stopped at the 45-yard line. Dan?
Matthew Rings on the tackle for Badin. I think the first 2 drives are in a nutshell here. We're seeing Badin with the short passes, the strong runs, just marching down the field, and then CJ, boom, one play. So it's definitely a tale of 2 cities here.
You can see why the Ram cornerbacks are giving a bit of a cushion to these CJ receivers.
Absolutely.
We'll see how patient CJ is. We have a pistol formation here. I don't know if this formation is legal, but the referees are not going to call it. Passes out to Owens. There's a flag. We're going to have a hold on DeJuan Lamb, his fellow receiver that was out there blocking in space.
Good catch there, Joel.
I think they only had 4 guys in the backfield on that play, the quarterback, 2 receivers, and the running back. I think you need – no, that's correct. That's correct. 4 in the backfield, 7 on the line. So the formation was legal. It's going to be a block in the back called.
From the spot of the foul.
The spot of the foul, which was 4 yards up the field. So it's going to be a first down. They get the down back, And it looks like it's going to be 1st and 17 for the Eagles. Somewhat concerning, but this offense is built for 1st and 17, right, Dan?
Yeah, they're not going to pound a fullback here on this play. Not at all.
Definitely a lot of speed out there. And Keon Owens, he's already got one 61-yard touchdown catch today. They don't want to let him get loose.
They're in the pistol, Joel.
All right, 2 receivers to the right side of the formation.
Oh, high
Over
snap.
the head. Chandler falls on the ball. Saves the possession. He had a little more time than he realized there, but I don't blame him for going conservatively and falling on top of that ball.
Nye Logan there touches him down.
Logan Nye, yes.
Logan Nye.
Logan Nye. His last name is N-E-U. He's a Sacred Heart kid, and everybody on the radio has called him Logan New all year long, but I believe it is actually pronounced Nye.
Nye. Like
N-E-U.
He grew up watching Bill Nye, the science guy.
That's
Probably
right.
loved him.
That's
didn't
right. He had an older brother named Hunter. He was a Sacred Heart kid back in the day.
Okay.
All right, pistol formation. 2nd down and 34.
Wow.
Reads the scoreboard. CJ might want to run the ball here and see if they can get some of it. Short pat, now he's going to scramble. Chandler's looking up. He's not all that fleet of foot. He slides right at the feet of Eli Emmons. Emmons didn't hit him late, although CJ was kind of chirping. They wanted maybe a call there. That slide was a little bit late. Emmons was already kind of going down and just kind of met him.
That would have been ticky-tack, I think.
Yeah.
I think Emmons did not want to inflict any harm at all.
He definitely did not go in helmet first or shoulder first.
Nothing like that, no.
So he's kind of going down on his knee, trying to make a little contact. Quarterback kind of goes down on the slide, and they kind of met there at that ground mesh point. So we have 3rd down for Chaminade Julienne. They are at their own 27-yard line.
Badin has three up front, now 4. So let's see if they blitz or they just go, classic straight 4-3.
Yeah, scoreboard reads 28 yards to go here for the 1st down. And a whistle blows.
Another flag.
And the flag is from the back judge. That means it's going to be delay of game. So the 5 yards that Chandler just gained there on the scramble is going to be lost again, and it's back to 3rd
and Larry Bird. 3rd and Bird. Larry Bird, 33.
We got a lot of Cali Green on the field tonight, Dan. 3rd and Bird for the Birds.
Larry Bird, Neil Sackenheim, Joel's father. Larry Bird, Neil's favorite player of all time.
And that was Grandpa's favorite also.
Oh,
he
absolutely.
loved bird watching.
Papa Neil.
Love the bird. Well,
God
Dan
bless
Diggum,
Papa
I
Neil.
love the bird. Pass. Play.
Badin blitzing
Blitz,
up the middle.
Screen.
Oh, here we
Keon
go.
Owens got a little bit of room going east to west across the field. Wrapped up around his ankle. Who got him for Badin? I'm waiting for him to stand up here. He's pulled up by Schweinefus. That is Jaden Carter. He basically just got a hand on one of his ankles and just kind of spun him around, waited for some friends to get there.
When Keon caught the ball, though, he had a 3-yard radius where no one was around him, and I just had memories of the last series where he popped it. So I was going, oh, but the Badin Rams contained him.
They
Nice
rally,
job.
get a little body on him, and they're good to go. Pickup is about, picked up about, well, I can't tell you how many yards they got because they're marching the yard marker all the way to the other end of the field because that is the end of the 1st quarter of play.
Nice game so far.
Competitive 1st quarter here at Kumler Field, Dan. 7-7, CJ and Badin here on the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota.
Teams switch sides, and Kendall Owens back to punt the ball for the Chaminade Julienne Eagles.
Bad
Bounces to him. Actually, that's Chandler. That's the quarterback. Both quarterbacks handling punting duties today. Bounces into the hands of Braden Moore. Going to run a little bit left.
Nice hit.
Oh, big stick.
Oh.
Brian Jones Jr. says, hitherforth and no farther, Mr. Moore.
Derek Thomas with the hit. And he hit like Derek Thomas of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Hall of Famer.
Thomas and Jones converging there at the ball, and that was all she wrote for that punt return. Only about a 4-yard return there for Moore. Badin has the ball. First down and 10 at their own 39-yard line. Not terrible field position. Dan, we can see the numbers on Badin's helmets as they're going from right to left now.
That's a new thing in the history of following the Badin Rams. They've never really had anything. They had a B on their helmet. It was kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals. I jokingly called it the pregnant bee.
The pregnant bee, that's right.
Yes, the fat bee, but they used to always just have an all-white helmet.
Handoff goes up the middle, and not a lot of room there for Dallas Rawlings.
For years, I've always wanted them to wear one of the Los Angeles Rams horns. Now, this year, you guys, if you watch any Los Angeles Rams games, they changed their classic horn this year.
Yes,
they
still going to be a horn. It'll still be a horn, but it's got like in 2 pieces, right?
Yeah, they cut the horn in half. I don't know what they did to it, but
it's kind of like a kid that ate half a candy cane and kind of snapped it in the middle, right, and put it back together and said, "No, Mom, I didn't have any of that."
But we'll come back to that.
Toss sweep, Lucas Moore. Ball was under center. Different formation for the Rams. Not a lot of different result. 2 yards there before he's met by CJ's defense.
3rd and 8 coming up for Badin. But we asked the coach about the numbers on the helmets. It's only on one side, kind of like Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's on the left side of the helmet.
Yes, and he basically said the seniors wanted it last year, so they came back, they got their numbers on their helmet. I thought that was kind of a neat touch.
It is. Badin, of course, under Terry Malone, going all the way back to the Hamilton Catholic days. Malone became the coach of Hamilton Catholic back in 1958. Shotgun for Vitterick. Zone defense. Finds a
First
receiver.
down.
Hole
Nice
in the
throw.
zone. Max Lauer ran about 13 yards upfield. Stopped at a hole in the zone defense and waited for Vitterick to find him.
Sam Downing Jr. on the tackle for Chaminade.
That was just a clear zone defense. Cover 2.
It was. He showed off his arm. Vitterick had a lot of velocity on the ball. It was an impressive throw.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It wasn't like a little loopy slant. I mean, it was just a hard throw.
Well, he had time. I mean, Lauer
Yes.
stopped his route, was just standing there in the middle of the zone.
It was a rifle.
Vitterick found him and just he held the square button, as they say in Madden, right?
That's correct.
Bullet pass.
We have-
Offside, CJ.
Interesting. Badin sent 2 guys in motion, which is legal prior to a snap. And
CJ sent a guy in motion across the line of scrimmage, which is not legal. 5-yard gain on the non-play for the Rams. Yeah, so back in the Hamilton Catholic days and the first, 38 years of Badin Rams history, Badin only had a plain white helmet.
As generic as you could get, I'll tell you.
Old school, not even a stripe or anything on it.
I mean, they made Penn State's uniforms look fancy.
Vitterick is being blitzed. He's got a hot route.
Oh,
this
there's
is going to be
flag.
a very easy pass interference call. Everything was man coverage there because CJ brought about a 7-man rush. Lucas Moore was the slot receiver and was Vitterick's hot route. He threw it, and who knows if it would have actually hit his hands or not because he got tackled mid-route.
Ethan Fernandez basically tackled the Badin Ram, and it was probably a smart thing to do.
Who knows? If Moore catches that ball, it's man coverage all the way down the field and possibly a big play there. So
they're all the way down to the 26 now, Joel.
Yeah, this is one of those calls. I don't think the pass was going to go for 15 yards if he caught it right there on the spot, but it's still a 15-yard penalty in high school football regardless. So Badin's actually going to get more yardage than they would have on the catch had he been tackled right away.
Pitch out to the right.
Jack Walsh ducks in, back outside, being stretched out, runs into the body of Donovan Cummings along the sideline, and Cummings kind of guides him out of bounds. Pickup of about 7 yards, Dan?
Yeah,
I think
about
we're going to go
7.
6 maybe. It's going to be, about 6.5 or 7.
Okay.
We'll see where they put the beanbag. Okay, 7. They're going to put the beanbag on the 19-yard line of CJ. So Badin now enters the red zone. Tie game, looking to take the lead after being down 7-0 after the second possession of CJ, and then scoring on the answer drive. This is Badin's 3rd offensive drive of the game, and Vitterick is now under center.
They rounded it up. It is 2nd and 3.
Okay. Toss, sweep, but going back as a counter. This is to Braden Moore going
Nice
to the
run.
left side of the line.
He's
Cuts
going.
it up, cuts it up, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Rams.
Very, very nice play there. Basically, the quarterback received the snap. The Badin team was kind of moving right, and then the pitch was to the reverse man who ran left and scored. Totally tricked CJ on the play.
It was like a toss counter. You don't see that very often.
Yes,
he tossed
toss
it
counter.
to the right, but the runner caught the ball and ran left, and I'm sure they had a pulling guard, a right guard, or somebody out there setting the block there and sealing off the edge, and he tucked it inside the lane. Extra point for Harding is up and good. 9:38 remaining in the second quarter, and the Badin Rams, 2 straight touchdowns, have a 14-7 lead.
Thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
And we are on the roof of the press box here at Edgewood.
Kumler Field rooftop.
Thank you, James Taylor, for the musical introduction.
Michael Schweinefus back to kick it off for the Rams, going from right to left. Big, booming kick. All the way back to the 5-yard line. It is dropped by the return man, then picked up, makes a move. That is Josiah Payne, the sophomore, and there is a flag thrown right at the very end of the play. Before the flag, he was tackled at the 11-yard line.
I think you're going to see a call against Badin here, and it might be a personal foul. Yeah.
Hit to the head.
Yeah, it was kind of a helmet-to-helmet thing going.
And Josiah Payne is actually in pain right now. He is on the ground, and the trainers are out there for CJ, and we'll see if they look at his head. He was moving. He's moving back and forth. You know, you always worry about that with a helmet-to-helmet type of hit there.
It could be similar to a concussion. I don't want to, say that and scare his family or anything, but he is hurting right now.
Well, there's a reason they threw the flag. We didn't really see the reason because it was in a mass of bodies, but there was a pretty emphatic toss by the side judge on the play. He definitely saw what was going on there and went ahead and made that hit. So, Division III, Dan, you got CJ and Badin.
Right.
Okay, who are in a dogfight right now. You got Alter, who is now 1-2, but nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, between Badin and Alter, one's going to win, one's going to lose, and Alter actually scheduled up, played Clinton Massey first game of the season. That's a hard first game to play against.
I'll tell you, though, that GCL co-ed always great football. And you're going to see it when everyone has a chance to make the playoffs. You're going to see the GCL co-ed. You're going to see lots of victories in the playoffs, lots of advancements. That's just my own prediction.
Carroll beat CJ last week.
That was
Big
a surprise.
Win. We saw Carroll week 1. Talawanda clinically dismantled them.
Absolutely.
And then they come out and play a road game at CJ last week, and my goodness. 20-17. They scored on the last play of the game.
They scored 13 points in the fourth quarter to come back and win the game 20-17. But go ahead.
It was Stephen Chapman, a 6-yard touchdown pass, and looks like they didn't even attempt the extra point. We're looking at this box score here. The 2 touchdowns for Carroll in the fourth quarter of the game was Ethan Braun, a 14-yard pass from Ryan Chapman. Stephen Chapman kicked that made it 17-14 CJ. And then Stephen Chapman, the kicker, and the brother, the 6-yard pass from his brother Ryan Chapman, and I'm going to say that's the last play of the game, even though there's no time here because they didn't even attempt to kick.
Yeah, I guess that might be a new rule now in high school. I'm not sure.
College has been like that. NFL is going to go to that now, right?
No, they changed it last year. NFL, if you win the game, you don't have to kick the extra point. They did change that last year.
All right, Josiah Payne is getting a little help walking off the field, a couple help from his friend. He looks a little bit dazed, a little bit woozy.
Yes.
That probably was a helmet-to-helmet hit. We'll pray that he's all right. Probably done for the game, I would imagine, based on the way the CTE and concussion protocols have been.
He's only a sophomore, so he's going to play some football for CJ the next couple years for sure. And,
right.
And he's shown already that he is a force to be reckoned with on the field today.
That's right. So here we go. Chapman out there, first down and 10 after the penalty. Instead of starting at the 12-yard line, they're going to be starting at the 27, their own 27. We're going to have an H-back in the backfield as well as the running back, Walter Sledge III. And the handoff goes to Sledge III at the very last second. He breaks a couple tackles as he runs laterally and manages to pick up 1 yard somehow on the play. Logan Nye?
Yeah, Logan Nye was in there almost tackling the quarterback as he was handing it off to the running back.
That was a zone read.
Yes.
Where Chapman got the snap, kind of tucked the ball inside the belly of the running back, Sledge III, and he held onto the ball and finally let go right before he himself got tackled. I mean, they all met at the conversion point. Chapman going to tuck it and run on a broken play scramble here. He's going to pick up about 3 yards on the play and set up a 3rd and 6 for the Eagles.
I'll tell you, Badin is. I think Badin is absolutely happy that Chaminade's trying to run the ball here because I think Chaminade ultimately has shown us so far that they're getting their yards from the passing game. And here we go. We got a 3rd and 6 coming up. We'll see what they can do with the passing game.
CJ's big plays are going to be out in space. So the more Badin can force them to run the ball up the middle, the better. They only have a 6-man box and a safety back over the top. We have man coverage on 2 receivers to the right side of the formation. Man coverage on the left side. That's Keon Owens. Snap. Throw.
Nice play.
And just barely got it there to J.P. Peltier.
Peltier, number 12 for CJ. When I see number 12 and I see those uniforms, I think Randall Cunningham. But Peltier is a white boy, but I'll tell you.
A wide receiver.
He's tall and lanky, and I just think of Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, we don't have the height and weights on this roster here. I think it's the first rosters we've called all year that have not had heights and weights on them.
He's definitely 6'2", I would say.
He's got some size.
He's a tall guy.
Tall dude. Exactly. He's more than your possession receiver. Keon's the more speedy
kind of a
dude
Chris
on the other
Collinsworth
side.
build if you really want to know.
There you go. RPO.
Oh, a juggle.
And intercepted. Oh, my goodness. Bob Young.
Bob Young. They went back to Peltier again. Peltier.
Don't get too excited. Chapman's on the ground rolling in pain with a yellow flag right next to his feet.
Okay.
This is probably going to be roughing the passer. Don't get too excited, Badin Rams fan. Holding CJ, never mind. The penalty is going to be declined, and Badin is going to get the football. That's
okay.
Chapman down, the quarterback. So that's why I kind of wondered.
He's holding his left wrist.
That's not his throwing arm.
No, it's not, but
still not good.
No, it's not good.
It's been a very costly possession for CJ, losing their return man, and now their quarterback is being tended to by the trainer. That was an RPO where Chapman took the snap, could have handed it off to the running back, tucked the ball instead, and threw the slant pattern intended for J.P. Peltier.
Peltier had his hand on the ball. He was juggling the ball, and then it just went awry, and Badin picked it off.
Yeah, it was a couple of, it was a high throw, but not ridiculously high. It was catchable. Peltier actually got both hands on it, juggled it a couple times, bounced it up to himself, got hit a little bit as he was juggling it, and the ball popped a little farther out of his reach and right into the waiting arms of the safety, Bob Young.
Now, I'm looking at CJ's roster in case.
That's Badin's roster.
Yes.
Here's CJ's.
I'm trying to see who the backup quarterback would be in case Luke was hurt there.
Possibly T.J. Tomlin, number 9.
He's
or
a
possibly
freshman.
Carson Swisher, number 16, who's listed as a quarterback and a linebacker as a junior. That might be the guy, Carson Swisher, if they need to go to that. Your roster over there's got positions, which helps a lot.
Yeah.
These rosters we have now don't, but that helps us get to the names a little easier, too.
That's true.
First down for Badin. Almost at midfield. They're at their own 47-yard line. The time on the clock is 7 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in the second quarter. The Rams, only scoring 3 points on CJ last year, already have 14 and have already won the turnover battle 2-0 so far.
This is a critical possession for CJ's defense.
Viderick fakes the handoff, throws the ball to an out route receiver, and that is going to be caught down the field by Lucas Moore. He was the second of 3 receivers out there to the right side of the formation, and he basically ran up about 8 yards and then ran laterally toward the sideline and caught a very nice, easy pass.
What do you think here, Joel? Do you think Badin's offense is clicking on all cylinders right now? They seem to be in a rhythm, and it's been 2 consecutive series, and they're rolling.
The most important thing I'm seeing from Badin's offense right now is diversity.
Okay.
They are not all pass, and they are not all run. They're doing a little bit of everything, and that's got to be very difficult for Chaminade Julienne's defensive coordinator
There he goes.
to play call. Dallas Rawlings up the middle for 3 yards. That's all you need on 2nd and 2. First down, Badin Rams.
Sam Downing Jr. on the tackle.
All right.
Actually,
Sam Downing is a junior. Yeah.
Yes.
Junior's the third column there. Yeah, Sam Downing puts him down, but 1st and 10 for the Badin Rams. They are at the Chaminade Julienne 42-yard line now as we take under 7 minutes left to go in the second quarter. I'm sure Badin would love to be able to get up by a couple scores here, although CJ obviously has the firepower. If they can get the ball out in space, no deficit would be too big for them to not be able to make a run at this.
That's correct. Now, Badin is set up in a passing formation.
Man in motion, wide receiver screen. That's Lucas Moore. Tucks it inside. Gets about 5 yards on the play.
It was pretty much the Keon Owens play that scored for Chaminade. Just Badin copied it and did the same thing. Good play. Didn't get quite the yards that Keon got.
Keon got 61. Lucas Moore got 6. But 6 is good.
Well, 6 is good for Badin. Badin wants to control this clock here. Try and score late here, not give CJ any chance to score and counter it.
Well, and the other question, I'll get to it in a second, as Viderick takes the snap and hands it to Rawlings.
Ooh.
Looks like that was a zone read. Viderick could have kept that if he wanted to. He held it a little bit late and then finally let go of the ball into the belly of Rawlings, and no gain there.
And Derek Thomas lays the wood on him again. That's 2 hard hits. I'm sure Derek Thomas, the old Kansas City Chief, up in heaven is smiling down at this young man playing with his name and playing hard just like he did.
There we go. Keep an eye out there also, Dan. See if you see 29 on defense. I think the 9s and the 4s for CJ look very similar.
Okay.
And your 29 is Brian Jones Jr., who's
Big
also been out
3rd and
there.
3 for the Rams here.
Shotgun snap, handoff to Rawlings, looking to power it.
Oh.
Gets spun forward by the tackler, Nesta Owens. I wonder if he's related to Keon. Nesta is a sophomore. He's listed as Robert Owens on our roster, but Nesta is his middle name, and that's what he goes by.
Or if he's related to Jesse Owens, right?
Dallas Rawlings had no gain there, but on the
Right.
tackle, he was spun forward by about 1.5 yards. And so they go from 3rd and 3
4th
to
and 1.
4th and 1.5.
Yes.
Beanbag is actually in between yard lines there.
Badin, of course, is not punting here. They're kind of in between where they can't try the field goal, and punting obviously is silly.
They're inside the CJ 35-yard line. They need to get to the 33. Viderick's going to keep it.
Nice call.
Block coming from Lucas Moore. Viderick, one man to beat, and he gets tackled from behind. David Frederick Jr. saves the touchdown. That read option they've been running it the last few plays.
It was a misdirection read option. Everyone was running left. The quarterback didn't hand it off left. He grabbed it and just ran right. There was no one out there.
He's been playing the last few plays. He's handed it off late to Rawlings. He's been holding that ball in his belly and making a decision, and I think he might have saw something there.
It was just a great call by the
Defensive
quarterback.
end collapsed on Rawlings, thinking it was going to be a run up the middle. Viderick now hands it off to Jack Walsh, the spell halfback. Walsh tucks it up.
Great
inside
speed.
The 10,
Great speed.
and he's blasted out of bounds by Frederick Jr. Hard hit just inside the 5-yard line. Walsh gets up, shaking the cobwebs out a little bit. Great run, though, for Jack Walsh. He's down all the way to the 2-yard line. 1st and goal for the Rams. 4:11 left to go in the second quarter. Badin trying to go up by 2 scores.
Did you say that was Frederick Jr. on the tackle?
Frederick Jr. again. He made a
Yeah,
tackle
he hit
on
him
the right
so
side.
hard, he went down on one knee. He hurt himself with that hit.
That was a blast.
I'm
and he
telling
hit him
you.
inbounds.
Yes,
he knocked
he
him
did.
out of bounds, but it was totally legal.
Oh,
and
it's
one
just
of those
good
big,
football. Good
he got
football.
jacked up type of hits.
All right, we have 1st and goal now for Badin at the 2-yard line. We have 4 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the half. Could we see our
first 2-score
Pat
game?
Summerall?
Yeah, let's see it. Well, Dallas Rawlings is in the game right now as the running back. Viderick hands it off to Rawlings. Rawlings up the
Ooh.
middle. Tries to get it. He got about half of the yardage from the 2 down to the 1. Swallowed up by a body of Eagles. And I'm going to go ahead and say that Ethan Fernandez gets credit for the tackle because he's the last body I saw get up out of the pile.
The beanbag is at just outside the 1-yard line.
The beanbag is on the ground.
No, Dirk.
We love Dirk Allen. We do. Voice of the Rams. You've heard him many, many times over the years. 3:40.
There's the play.
Quarterback sneak to Viderick.
Touchdown.
1-yard touchdown run for Viderick right over the center.
I'll tell you, the quarterback sneak is working effectively for Badin. They used it on a 4th and 1, got 9 yards earlier in the game. They had it at the 1.5 yard line. It was an easy quarterback sneak for them.
Again, everyone's probably keying on Rawlings. They know that we're ready to call Summerall's call up here.
Yeah,
And so
I'm sure CJ has paid attention to that, yes.
They're listening
What's
to
Joel and Dan going to call here? We can't do what they're saying.
Well, hashtag Dentist Dan has been, trending on Twitter. And bad snap. Will he throw it? He's going to try to scramble, and he's got no room at all there. The kicker on the play, Joseph Harding, the snap was bad into the turf. It never was caught by Schweinefus to be able to put it down.
He tried to roll right, and he had no one to throw the ball to, obviously.
Obviously, there's nobody running the route out there.
Obviously.
Yep. So 20-7. Badin Rams off to settle for only 6 on that drive. 3:38 left to go in the second quarter here at Kumler Field. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Michael Schweinefus has the ball on the tee. That means the Badin Rams going to kick it off deep here.
Keon Owens is back there.
Oh, they're not going to kick it off deep. They tried to go ahead and freak him with the okey doke there. A little line drive kick that was caught by Ethan Fernandez. He was not fooled like I was. Schweinefus had kicked it off deep twice. They had Harding to do the squib kick, and I thought for sure with Schweinefus out there, they'd try to kick it deep again. But that was clearly an attempt to surprise CJ and hope to get the onside.
And it also served another purpose. Keon didn't get his hands on the ball
That's
for
true.
Chaminade.
That's true. Luke Chandler is back in the game. We wondered if we'd see him back after being tended to by the trainer. So he's back in. That's the good news for Chaminade Julienne.
He has something around his left wrist there. I think it's a wristband. It's been wrapped. You can see that.
The handoff up the middle.
Oh.
And he is met. Absolutely no gain. That was Walter Sledge III, and Sledge got hammered by Jaden Carter.
Sledgehammer. Dun, dun. We're going to have to pay Peter Gabriel royalties after this draw.
Oh, my God. Peter Gabriel and James Taylor bringing in the 80s and the 70s soft rock here to the Kumler Field press box.
Peter Gabriel was not soft rock.
He was
Come
not.
on.
He was
No.
80s, exactly.
Yeah,
The
there you
80s
go.
and the 70s soft rock.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, commas are hard. Man in motion.
That was
Chandler busted play.
It was kind of ugly.
I don't think that's what he wanted to do.
Well, he was originally going to hand it off.
DeJuan Lamb was the man in motion.
And then he decided, there's too many people on DeJuan. So then he held the ball, and then about 3 Badin Rams were on him.
This is the second time in as many drives that CJ has had a read option where the quarterback can hand it or tuck it and been met by a Badin lineman in the backfield right at that mesh point. Very challenging to know whether to get rid of it or keep it when you're getting hit.
I think Badin's defense is figuring out CJ right now.
They're getting more penetration in
third
the
and
backfield.
14 here. This is important for CJ because you don't want to give Badin back the ball here. They're milking the clock a little bit.
And a timeout is going to be taken by
CJ.
Chaminade Julienne. So 1:57 left to go in the second quarter. The Rams 20, the Eagles 7.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Still in the huddle. Let's go back real quickly, Dan, to the Badin touchdown on the quarterback sneak. On the Terry Malone era, in the power T, you would see that type of stuff all the time. When Dave Worth came over as the second coach of Badin football, all of the quarterback sneaks were from the shotgun formation. They never practiced anything under the center.
No, they didn't.
And that's where you got your frustration. Of
Oh, it was
4th and 1,
frustrating.
you can't be able to get a yard because you're going backwards 4 yards before you're building up any head of steam.
Yeah, if you get the ball in a shotgun formation, you basically have to run 5 yards to gain 1. And I just wish during the Worth era we saw the quarterback under the center on those short 4th and 1s.
A lot of great passing records set in Badin history during that era, but the quarterback sneak play was not as good. Under Yorty here, you're seeing the ability to go both under center as well as shotgun. Gives
Versatility.
you a versatile attack. 3rd and 14 for the Eagles coming out of the timeout. Chandler looking for the slant. Peltier, ball is overthrown. Intended for Peltier, and you had Lucas Moore as one of several Rams that were in zone coverage on the play. You also have the safety Robert Young, another safety Max Lauer, and even another quarterback dropping back, David Schweinefus.
It was dead on similar to the play where Peltier got his hands on the ball on the last series, and then the ball was deflected and Badin picked it off. I'll tell you, CJ's quarterback has a rifle, but he might have took a little off the ball there. He wanted to get it there, though.
Yeah, it was kind of a Cam Newton rifle on that one. It was thrown hard, but not as accurate as you would have liked for the Eagles. Interesting decision time for Nick Yorty. How aggressive do you want to play this? You're already up 20-7. Almost a blocked punt. And I think actually the referee says the ball was tipped. He might have gotten a little piece of that. A fair catch is called by Max Lauer, and he had traffic around him because Badin sent the house.
Lucas Moore there, the sophomore.
He laid out full extension, didn't he?
He tipped it a little bit, I'll tell you.
The referee behind the play made that basketball tip motion with the left hand up over his head and the right hand grazing along his left hand there.
I'll tell you, Badin has all 3 timeouts. They got 1:47. They've shown they can throw the ball when they want to. This is an excellent opportunity to practice the 2-minute offense, whether you score or not. You're going to use this for the future, for the end of games. So you got to do it.
How aggressively do you play it? Do you play conservatively, go in at halftime, knowing that you're going to get the ball to start the third already, and you don't want to throw a pick six or something stupid? You don't want to be reckless.
That's right.
But if you can pick up some yardage, be safe with it.
That wasn't safe.
Oh, that wasn't safe.
That was a great play, though. I mean,
Brian Jones Jr. thought he had a beat on it, and the ball was thrown a little too hard for him and zipped past him. Braden Moore was the intended receiver. He also couldn't quite get to that. That was a deep slant route or deep in route from the slot.
I like the call. I like the call. He threw it behind Braden. He threw it on his opposite shoulder. I mean, it was thrown on the other shoulder. He would have called it easily.
It might have been a good thing that it was, though, because the way that Brian Jones Jr., the linebacker, had a beat on that, that might have also been that pick six we were talking about, too. This is a tricky area for Badin. You don't want to give CJ the ball back. You'd love to score before halftime, but you also don't want to do anything stupid. 5 receivers, quick out pattern, through the hands of Jack Walsh. He was open. The ball was a little high, but not a lot high, and did sail through his hands. And Ethan Fernandez on coverage there for the Eagles. 2 plays. They've taken off about 5 seconds of playing time.
Yeah, but I like the aggressiveness of Yorty here. I really do.
Yorty is definitely a little more aggressive than a Bill Tenor, who was before him.
Absolutely.
And certainly more aggressive than a Terry Malone, who was the legend.
Malone would have ran the ball 2 times for sure.
He probably would have. Tenor certainly would have on the wing T. That's what he liked to do. And, of course, Dave Worth would be throwing the ball over the field on every play. He's at Moeller now, after being at Purcell Mary in the last few years. 5 wide receivers again. Viderick going to roll out to the left. Several receivers in the route. Passes to number 11, Braden Moore. Short by only about 1.5 yards. 4th down. They got out past their own 40-yard line. It'll be about the 40.5. They need to get to the 42.
And most importantly for CJ, they knocked him out of bounds, so it saves 1:33 on the clock.
And saves the Eagles a timeout. And we have an ineligible receiver downfield. This will be an interesting decision for Chaminade Julienne.
I decline it if I'm them.
I would too.
But they're not.
They're not. I would like a 4th and 1.5 yards and say, Nick Yorty, how gutsy are you? Do you want to go for it on your own 40-yard line?
And I would think Yorty would punt. So
I would think Yorty would punt as well, but Chaminade Julienne's coach, Marcus Colvin, is going to make the opposite decision of that. That's going to make it a 3rd down. A 3rd down and 15. And the issue is going to be now that if Badin gets tackled in bounds here, CJ's going to have to take a timeout, their second timeout, to be able to stop the clock. That's the reason I would have declined that penalty, Dan.
Exactly.
Clock more than down and distance.
Here we
Viderick going to scramble, rolling out, throws it, overthrows David Schweinefus, so no harm, no foul for Chaminade Julienne. They lose about 5 seconds in the trade-off and gain about 13 yards of field position in the trade-off. 4th down and 15, and now there's no question Yorty is going to punt the football here.
Very fortunate CJ there in that play because
he was open.
He was open. He just overthrew him a little bit. He would have the first down and everything.
He would have caught it about 7 yards short, but there was nobody within 10 yards of him, and he probably gets the first down there on the run after the catch. Viderick is in punt formation. Badin is playing this as a tight punt, and they boot it downfield.
Was back.
Way over Owens' head. Owens tracks it down on one bounce.
Oh, that should be a
25,
flag.
and you saw the block in the back, didn't you, Dan?
Not only did he block him in the back, he pulled his jersey a little bit, too, to emphasize it.
Hey, referee, this is my foul. Can you see it? That ball bounced around the 30-yard line, bounced backwards for 5 more yards. Keon Owens ran back. It was over his head.
That's going to be a huge penalty, Joel, because they're up near the 40, and the block happened at the 31. So, as you say, they're going to go back 10 from there.
He picked up the punt at the 25-yard line, ran for about 15 yards out of bounds at the 40. The flag is at the 31-yard line. That is where the penalty will be enforced from, and it's going to be brought back to the 21. CJ's not figured this out yet. They're now having to walk back with the umpire. How far back are we again? This far back. 21-yard line, 1 minute, 16 seconds remaining. Joel Sackenheim, Dr. Dan Vogt.
Thank you, sir.
Glad to have you with us at Kumler.
Basically a 21-yard penalty when all's said and done.
That hurts Chaminade Julienne.
Yes, it does.
Owens in motion from the left side, ends up over the tight end. Man in motion, Peltier through the right side. Low snap, Chandler, pass, looks for Peltier. Peltier,
he was Peltiered
up.
He was Peltiered, absolutely.
Michael Schweinefus, Peltz.
These are
Peltier over the middle.
These are great names, aren't they?
Schweinefus.
Peltier.
Peltier. These are excellent. Absolutely excellent. All right, 2nd down and 10.
We have 1:11 in the half here. Now, let's see. CJ has 2 timeouts.
Yes, sir.
Badin has 3.
That is correct, and the scoreboard is accurate. I'm keeping them here on our chart as well. Handoff to Sledge.
No doing.
Hammer twice, and a late hit thrown by 3 referees. Kind of unfortunate in a way. Eli Emmons made the original tackle.
Was that Hunter Harrison?
I think it might have been Michael Schweinefus actually coming in late, or maybe his brother, 86 or 88, that came in there. Bad timing, really, more than anything else. I don't think there was anything dirty about that hit, but Emmons had just gotten him to the ground as Schweinefus was diving in, tried a shoulder pad first to go ahead and make a hit.
It was technically a late hit, but it was one of those where if they didn't call the penalty, no one would have been upset about it.
It was a bang-bang play.
Yeah.
Coach Yorty, when he looks at the film, is not going to be at all sad about that hit. I mean, it's one of those just unfortunate situations. But 15 yards added to the end of the run. 1st and 10.
The ref is wanting to wind the clock, and they're not. Now they're finally winding it.
Minute left.
Okay.
And they're at their own 34-yard line for the Eagles. Ball is
Keon in motion.
Blitz coming. Chandler overthrows Sledge, and he is drilled.
And he's hurt again.
He's holding that left arm. He's in pain, Dan. Jaden Carter was the free blitzer on that, and he got a clean shot at Chandler, and he took it.
Chandler is a tough guy. I'll tell you, he is tough. He is getting hit hard.
Yeah, Luke Chandler, he's going to see Badin Rams in his dreams tonight, I think. Rams rushers, and he's been getting blasted. Legally, mind you. That was a clean hit right to the midsection of Chandler, and they got that left arm kind of tangled into the hit again. And 2nd down and 10.
He's got tape on. Yeah.
Yeah, Luke Chandler, this is a gutsy effort on his part here. CJ, after they got that 61-yard touchdown, I'm sure they felt a lot better about themselves than they do right now. Badin's really tightening the screws on him. Rush coming, 4-man rush, pass to Peltier, diving tackle missed.
Nice
Peltier
run.
tucks it to the left sideline. Now darts it up, has a blocker, and he's going to be dragged down out of bounds by Emmons. Eli Emmons drags him out at the 32-yard line. Gain of about, 22 on that or so, Dan? Maybe a little more.
16.
You got to calculate the math past the 50-yard line on that play.
16, 34-yard play.
34-yard play for the Chaminade Julienne Eagles. They are now 39 seconds left to go. 2 timeouts left. The clock is stopped because they got tackled out of bounds. They are at Badin's 32-yard line. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Chandler throws the slant, picked up by David Schweinefus.
Oh, my gosh.
He's got a bit of a convoy if he can break 1 tackle, which he did not. and that was the receiver, Dewan Lamb, who was the back receiver on that, making the tackle. We've seen that slant pattern a few times tonight, Dan. I know David Schweinefus has seen that slant pattern a few times, and he ran the route for him.
Schweinefus, the senior, he saw it. He said, enough of this. He's number 86. He looks like a tight end. He's a really, really tall guy.
Both Schweinefus twins have a couple of college offers from Division II or Division III programs, and they're also, we're told by Coach Jordy, very high academically.
There you go.
And so that's a good combination when you can get some maybe athletic scholarship money possibly, and also some academic scholarship money possibly. That's a good thing there for the Schweinefus twins, donning green and white tonight for the Rams. 32 seconds now.
I say a handoff
Not
here.
aggressive at all.
Yeah, I say you hand
Get
it
in
off.
at the half. You're
in
getting
half.
the ball back.
That's correct.
Badin is getting the ball to start the third quarter. And here
we
is the
go.
handoff to Dallas Rawlings, and Rawlings is going to bounce off a guy and finally be tackled 5 yards upfield by Carson Swisher, the backup quarterback, also playing linebacker. Badin hustles to the line as if they want to run another play. We're below 20 seconds. I don't know why they snapped this ball, but it looks like they're ready to, and they do. Viderick going to throw the ball. Quick pattern to number 15, Max Lauer. He is tackled for the first down. Yordy's got to take a timeout here, right? And he does. We're going to keep it here. Only 8 seconds left to go. I'm a little surprised, Dan, and I know Coach Yordy is better than many coaches in terms of clock management. So
Yes.
I certainly don't consider this a criticism of Coach Yordy. That man does study his clock management.
Well, the only thing he could hope for in this situation is maybe a pass interference down the field, which would give him an extra play, and then they could, throw another one in the end zone.
The untimed down. They're at their own 45-yard line. I'm just surprised to see them hand the ball off, blow 20 seconds of their 30 seconds that they had, hustle up to the line of scrimmage if they're going to intend on throwing it and wasting a timeout.
Yeah, it was kind of a schizophrenic series there, wasn't it?
You kind of expect them to either be throwing it because you want to get big chunks,
right,
or hand the ball off and go in at halftime and be happy with a 20-7 lead, but you've done neither now. You've handed it off and wasted 2/3 of the remaining clock you have left, leaving yourself only 8 seconds. You throw the ball to get a first down, which is good, and you got to take a timeout, but you can't possibly use the other 2 timeouts. There's not enough time to run but 2 plays.
Maybe he has a trick play here, kind of like he did on the earlier run, the reverse pivot pitch inside.
Again, I don't really want to question Coach Jordy because the man knows more football, has probably forgotten more football than I'll ever know in my life. But
yeah,
it's an interesting clock management situation and strategy nevertheless. We're going to have 3 receivers, trips formation to the right side as the Rams come out of this timeout. They got enough time for 2 plays. You could throw it over the middle and get a big chunk and get down with 7 seconds and then take a timeout if you want. Fake handoff, play action. Viderick looking for the wheel route. We're going to have a flag for a hold behind the play. Viderick chucks it way down the field to Jack Walsh. Catches the ball.
Oh, my goodness.
Bounces off a tackle.
And he
scores into the end zone, but he's not going to score.
I know. Well, he scored, but there is a penalty in the backfield. Well,
Yordy's not happy.
Well, Yordy knew
Yordy
more
than we did. That's
yes,
right.
Yes, he did. I mean, he got a touchdown on the play, but there's a flag that's going to be against Badin. But he did get a touchdown on the play. That was amazing.
Yeah, Jack Walsh was the running back. They faked the handoff to Walsh. Innocent little play action there. No one thinks you're going to run the ball, but he kept running the route after the play action, and nobody really picked him up. Viderick scrambled to the left side of the pocket, threw across his body, threw over the linebacker, got into the hands of Walsh, who broke 1 tackle, ran it all the way in. 55-yard gain on the play, except the hold that was what let Viderick escape the pocket in the first place.
That's where he probably watched the defensive films, watched the tendencies, said, hey, if we keep the running back going all the way down the field, we're not going to pick him up. So that's probably why he called a timeout with 8 seconds to go.
Nick Yordy, I'm man-crushing on you the same way Steve Vaughn is on Mahan over at Hamilton. That's all I got to say about it.
There we go.
An untimed down and a kneel down for Viderick. They ran their play that would have worked but didn't. And so we have reached halftime here at Kumler Field. The Badin Rams 20, the Chaminade Julienne Eagles 7. You're listening to the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Performance Toyota Superstore invites you to save. Money, that is. Overstocked pre-owned vehicles have forced us to wholesale direct to you. Our loss is your gain. Everything is on sale. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Every deal will be made. Keep your stimulus check and just show up and drive. If you want it, we've got it. Every style, every color, every model. It's used cars for everyone. Only at your Performance Toyota Superstore. Go to performancetoyotastore.com.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
We are back live at Kumler Field.
You know the music before we get on. Who does that guitarist? I want to know who Chris hired for that. he's cranking on it, isn't he?
I'm looking at the Facebook page where this is being broadcast right now. We got your sister, Ruth Vogt Madden, saying go Joel and Dan and go Rams. Got Sandy Willman Paxton and Andy Malone listening in. And who knows who else is listening in now live or will be listening in later on. The Badin Rams have a 20-7 lead over Chaminade, Julienne at the half. Dan, how'd they do it?
Just domination. If you take away the big Chaminade play, they really haven't done much of anything. I'm very impressed with Badin so far this first half.
I'm chuckling. I'm looking at this Facebook page, and everything I just said like 10 seconds ago is actually coming up as closed captioning on the Facebook page. Some artificial intelligence is going to kind of freak us out a little bit, Dan.
Don't look at that. That'll get us all mixed up.
Pull up James Taylor, please. Pull up James Taylor. Don't look at that. That's right. That's right. All right. So, little history for you.
Okay.
French Revolution. All right?
All right.
And with the cancel culture that's been going on nowadays, kind of the original version of cancel culture was the French Revolution. They ended up executing the king and the queen of France,
Marie
Antoinette, yep,
yes.
and Louis
See, I
the
knew
16th, yep. Maximilien Robespierre was the young lawyer. I think he was about 20 years old or so, very young guy, and he was kind of the guy that was the leader of the group called the Jacobins that took over France in that time, was trying to institute some sort of democratic government. But it was very, very terrifying because opinions were crimes back then. They had, people waiting in bread lines, and they had secret police going out there and listening to what the ladies were saying as they were waiting to get their bread. And if you didn't support the revolution, you'd be arrested and you'd be executed on that guillotine in Paris. Sometimes if you didn't support the revolution enthusiastically enough, you could be gone ahead and
So
ambivalence
would get you killed.
Oh, my goodness. And so anybody that had power, everything was new.
Okay.
Year one, they had a new calendar. So everything that had done before was ancient history. In 1792 became year one. They had a brand new calendar where they changed the name of all the months into different weather, climate type of related things.
So it wasn't the Gregorian calendar.
It was not the Gregorian calendar for a little bit there during what was called the Reign of Terror. It was about a 3-year span in France.
Okay.
People that were liable to be executed, besides people that were against the revolution, anybody that had money was a person of suspicion.
Okay.
As well as the church.
Oh.
That was people of suspicion as well. The tearing down of Catholic statues, the vandalization of Catholic church property, and that was a real big issue there. And in fact, they adopted on their calendar a 10-day week so that people would lose track of when the Sabbath was. Instead of, a 7-day traditional week.
You could just put a piece of paper down and mark the days, couldn't you?
You would have had to have done that. But yes, certainly the wealthy nobility, the people with power, and the church. And I mean, just like we see in modern day, things that, prevent a communist government or a straight revolution, secular humanitarian revolution, you got to take down anything that might result in free thinking, and certainly the family is going to be attack number one, where if you can get kids to turn in their parents, and certainly the church is another place. We got a lot of Catholic listeners right now that are listening. One of the French priests that escaped the French Revolution was Father Stephen Theodore Badin. Okay, so Stephen T. Badin was a priest in Orléans, France, back in the 1790s. He escapes through the town of Bordeaux and gets on a ship and comes over here to the United States of America, where he is the only priest in the entire state of Kentucky.
Okay.
That was his parish. Uses Bardstown, Kentucky as his home base. That eventually becomes its own diocese with its own bishop that was given under one of the priests that Badin traveled with. The bishop of Cincinnati back in those days that Stephen T. Badin worked underneath was Edward Fenwick. That's a name that should sound very, very familiar.
Middletown Fenwick,
That's right. Franklin Fenwick now. They moved across the street, and now they're technically not Butler County, right?
That's correct.
All right. So Stephen T. Badin escapes through the town of Bordeaux. One of the most prominent priests in the town of Bordeaux that was dealing with the persecution and trying to play it down the middle. He had about 50 priests that were going secular humanist in the idea of supporting the revolution just out of self-preservation. He had to also try to keep the more conservative wing of the church there, was Father William Joseph Chaminade. He was there in Bordeaux, a contemporary of Father Badin.
So up in heaven, Chaminade and Badin are arm wrestling each other.
They know each other. They were contemporaries, both living in France in the 1790s. Father Badin escaped and came over here. Father Chaminade stayed behind and basically outlived the Reign of Terror through 1795. There was a nun also from, I believe, the town of Ameren, France, that had been arrested and was slated to be executed toward the very end of the Reign of Terror in 1795. She was sitting there in prison, and she did not get executed because Maximilian Robespierre ended up
That wouldn't be Sister Mary, would it?
That would not be Sister Mary.
Okay. She's been around a while.
Sister Mary Cool? Oh, my gosh.
Sorry, I had to interject a little humor in there.
It is a sister that you would probably recognize her name, though. Sister Julie Billiart.
Okay.
St. Julie Billiart, Julie Billiart Parish in Hamilton.
Formerly St. Stephen's
Formerly
Parish.
St. Stephen's, the building, yep. That was named after St. Julie. She was sitting in prison during that time in France, awaiting execution, ends up escaping the Reign of Terror when they execute Maximilian Robespierre and dismantle the guillotine. That was kind of the end of the Reign of Terror when Robespierre himself, the guillotine author, ends up getting executed. St. Julie Billiart is who Julienne High School up in Dayton was named after.
Wow.
Chaminade Julienne, named after St. Julie Billiart. St. Julie, after escaping prison, goes on to be one of the founders of the Sisters of Notre Dame de Nemours. The Sisters of Notre Dame de Nemours eventually make their way, not St. Julie herself, but several of her sisters, make their way over to this geographic area of the country under Bishop Fenwick and Bishop Purcell and their successors, and they end up starting up a few high schools to educate the young Catholic kids of this area. Chaminade High School, named after Father William Chaminade, was under the directions of Notre Dame de Nemours, as was Julienne High School in Dayton, as was Notre Dame High School in Hamilton, where your mother went and my grandmother went.
Yep.
The all-girls Catholic high school was also under the direction of the Sisters of Notre Dame de Nemours.
It's all coming together.
So CJ and Badin, even though they're separated from Dayton to Hamilton by a decent little stretch, 30 miles or so of road, a lot of connections going back to French Revolutionary France and the persecuted church there during the Reign of Terror.
And doesn't Stephen T. Badin have some history with the University of Notre Dame?
Stephen T. Badin does have some history of the University of Notre Dame. He actually built a log cabin on the campus of Notre Dame toward the end of his life. That log cabin burned in a fire maybe 12 or so years later, but eventually a replica was built, and Father Badin was actually reinterred and buried in or under that new log cabin on the campus of the University of Notre Dame.
That's why you see so many Badin fans root for Notre Dame.
There's no doubt, and I'm sure CJ fans as well. Notre Dame obviously being the big, huge Catholic draw.
And I don't know if they beat Duke today or not. I'm hoping that they did.
Well, we're going to go ahead and look this up and see here as as the website comes up. So that's just a little bit of French Revolutionary history for you all, the listeners. I used to be a history teacher before I was a truck driver back in the day. So why not, right?
Why not?
And this is what everything has in common as far as Father Badin, Father Chaminade, Sister Julie, Badin High School, Chaminade, Julienne High School.
Well, that's good that you
Sisters of Notre Dame, Dana Moore.
Well, when I was young, they were always just known as Dayton Chaminade, and then they added the Julienne, and I'm glad you explained where that came from.
Chaminade High School was an all-boys high school, the same as Hamilton Catholic was here in Hamilton. Julienne High School was an all-girls high school, the same way that Notre Dame High School was the all-girls high school. I believe that was right across the street from St. Joseph's back in the day. And just like in 1966, Badin goes co-ed with Hamilton Catholic and Notre Dame forming Badin High School. Chaminade Julienne merged together as a co-ed high school in 1973, 7 years after the Badin Rams.
Fantastic.
And college football scoreboard right now, since you mentioned it, in the ACC. And yes, this is an ACC conference game, everybody. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who are for 1 year in a conference, beat the Duke Blue Devils 27-13. Also in the ACC, you have the University of North Carolina over Syracuse, 31-6. So if Michelle Lewis is listening over there in Syracuse, New York, who is complaining that there's no high school football in New York right now, just know that your Orange, or it used to be the Orange Men, lose 31-6. Also a ranked score from the Big 12 is a non-conference game. Number 23, Iowa State, losing at home in Ames to the Ragin' Cajuns of the University of Louisiana Lafayette. Break out the Sun Belt Conference, Dan Vogt, 31-14. Cajuns.
I'm glad the Cajuns, they're described as raging there. I'm glad they're not offended by that and they haven't had to change their name. Darn it, they're Cajuns, they're raging. They cook well, they can do everything. They play football well, too.
Well, you know where the term Cajun comes from. This is before the French Revolution, but the Acadian province of French Canada. The Acadians actually were expelled from their province by the British back in 1763 after the French lose the French and Indian War to King George III and the British Empire. And they end up resettling down the Mississippi River in the New Orleans. The Acadians become known as the Cajuns, the French-speaking area of our country right now. So we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break now that you got your history lesson in for the day. We're going to come back with the third quarter as both teams are out of their locker rooms. It is 20-7. Badin on top of Chaminade Julienne here at Kumler Field.
Performance Toyota Superstore invites you to save. Money, that is. Overstocked pre-owned vehicles have forced us to wholesale direct to you. Our loss is your gain. Everything is on sale. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Every deal will be made. Keep your stimulus check and just show up and drive. If you want it, we've got it. Every style, every color, every model. It's used cars for everyone. Only at your Performance Toyota Superstore. Go to performancetoyotastore.com.
Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota.
Badin football on the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network is brought to you by Performance Toyota. Never pay more when you shop Route 4, Performance Toyota, and by Matandy Steel, a proud supporter and sponsor of Badin Athletics, the great Frank Fearman out there. I saw Andy Fearman on the Badin sideline earlier today.
Very good.
I guess he might be part of the coaching staff for the home Rams. Also, Rick's Tavern and Grill, located on Route 4 in Fairfield, our Performer of the Week gift certificate sponsor. All right, Dan, the Chaminade Julienne Eagles had lost the coin toss. They had the ball first, and so now they're going to have to kick off to begin the third quarter. This is an opportunity for Badin to put a dagger in them.
Absolutely. Badin up 20-7 as we speak. They're lining up. Here comes the kickoff to start the second half.
It is Chad Baird lining up to kick off for the Eagles. And again, the left sideline is being left conspicuously wide open, and Max Lauer probably sees it and goes straight left. Couple blocks being set. Around the corner. Breaks a tackle, breaks two tackles, and eventually tackled by Keon Owens at the 34 or 35-yard line. We'll see where they place the beanbag for the Badin Rams start their drive. I mean, CJ is giving them the left sideline on those returns, Dan.
I know. It's very unusual, isn't it?
It's like, we're not going to cover but 2/3 of the field. We're not going to put anybody outside the hash mark on the left sideline.
I am.
You know where he's going to run.
Yes. Now, I am impressed with CJ's seniors. The coach said we lost a lot, but the 6 that they have, we're just calling their names all night long.
That's right, over and over again. And this team is probably going to be even better next year, I would think, Dan, with all those juniors that are stepping into these much larger roles, filling in for those graduates.
Absolutely.
See Rick Casano down there in a bright orange shirt. He's everywhere. He's got a big old camera in his hand and everything. All right, shotgun formation. Landon Vitterick is going to hand it off to Dallas Rawlings. Dallas Rawlings up the middle. Pummels his way for 6, maybe 7 yards on the play. Badin going to try to go ahead and work on that CJ defensive line.
Gain is 6 on a play, would you say?
It looks like they're going to get rounded up. We're rounding up everything almost. In high school football, almost everything all season long through 3 weeks has been rounded up or rounded down. So they're going to give him 7 yards there on the carry for Dallas Rawlings, and it's going to be 2nd down and 3 from Badin's own 42-yard line. Weird formation here. They got 4 receivers bunched on the short side of the field, sending 3 men in motion, but Max Lauer, the one who did not go in motion, was lined up on the far outside receiver, flinched as the other 3 guys started moving. That is going to be a false start called, and so a 5-yard loss or penalty for the Rams.
Coach Orty very angry with his team on that play, that lack of execution.
Not what he wanted there.
No.
Not what he wanted. He probably had something special planned with that formation, that shift.
It was very unusual.
You already found something, and I got to say, with that clock management, he knows more than we know. He was perfect. He knew exactly what he was doing at the end of the first half, didn't he?
He got a touchdown with 8 seconds to go.
If it wasn't for the holding penalty, they'd be up 27-7 right now. Here we go. 2nd and 8. Vitterick, 3-step drop, short pass. David Schweinefus catches it. Does a stiff arm against Donovan Cummings. Runs down the right sideline. Very sizable gain on this play as Badin is across midfield all the way down to the Chaminade Julienne 35-yard line.
That is a lot to ask for Cummins to cover Schweinefus one-on-one like that. It was a beautiful, beautiful play.
He was out in space, man.
Yes, he was.
And I don't think Schweinefus had the speed advantage there.
But
he had the size advantage and the stiff arm advantage, and he knew exactly what he was going to do. He used the truck stick there to get out of that one.
About a 30-yard play there.
Toss sweep. Jack Walsh around the left side.
Walsh showing his speed.
He's broken
Walsh
to the end zone. Does a stiff arm and scores. Touchdown Rams.
35 yards. Jack Walsh, he can fly.
Oh, my gosh. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Walsh nipping at your toes, Dan.
That was a stretch play, Joel, and a stretch analogy.
And a stretch analogy. I love it. It's not Christmas yet. The weather's going to start turning colder, but
don't say
tonight.
that. Don't say that.
Not
I don't
tonight.
want the winter.
All right. Joseph Harding. You do like football season coming up, though.
Absolutely.
Joseph Harding for the extra point. We'll see if he can get a better snap here. He does. Kick is up. Drifts a little bit toward the right.
Wide
and
right.
Sneaks just wide. So 10:23 left to go in the third quarter of play. It's the Badin Rams 26 and the Chaminade Julienne Eagles 7 on the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
Schweinefus kicks it high and deep to Keon Owens, waiting at the 12-yard line. Runs to the left, starts looking for a place to tuck it up, doesn't do it yet, still running laterally, runs out of real estate, ends up only with a net of 5 yards on that return, going all the way from the right hash all the way to the left sideline.
Just a pure lateral run and great coverage by Badin on the play.
Very good for the Badin Rams. Nick Yorty is going to see that and be very pleased.
Nice high kickoff, too.
Oh,
they were able
gosh.
to get down there and contain him.
Chaminade Julienne is going to start this ball. Normally you don't see this in high school football, inside their own 20, and there's no penalty.
No penalty
That was
at all.
just simply a high kick, good coverage, discipline staying in your lanes, and not giving the fastest player on CJ a nice seam to go up.
And it doesn't help CJ now has an 85-yard drive ahead of him just to get a touchdown.
Goodness. They start 1st and 10 on their own 16-yard line.
84.
For the, Luke Chandler takes a snap, 3-step drop.
Ball's batted down at the line of scrimmage.
The referees waited to blow that whistle. I think
Who batted that down there?
I think Logan Nye thought he had a touchdown there. That ball just rolled and rolled and rolled backwards. There was no whistle for a while, and he's like in the end zone holding the ball like, well, what is that, guys? Incomplete pass is the ruling on the field. 2nd and 10 for the Eagles at their own 16-yard line. Luke Chandler sets up his receiver properly on the line of scrimmage. That's DeJuan Lamb. Now a man in motion. That's Owens. They fake it to Owens. Chandler tucks it and runs, and he's got no room at all.
They tried a misdirection run option. Badin was having none of it.
3 Rams converged there, but the first one that made contact and clogged up the hole was big old Michael Schweinefus, number 88, the kicker, as well as defensive lineman for the Rams. Actually, I think he might be a linebacker the way that he's lined up here. Schweinefus is a very versatile player, can do a lot of things for Nick Yorty's team.
Big play for CJ's offense here. It's 3rd and 12, and if they can't convert here, Badin's going to get excellent field position up near the 50-yard line.
Big Mo is definitely on Badin's side right now, Dan. Pistol formation. This will not be a run. It will be a run. He handed it off.
Oh, my goodness. Badin was on top of it, 77.
Walter Sledge, I can't believe they ran the ball out of the pistol there on 3rd and 12. And Badin can't believe they did it either because they clogged up the line. And
yeah, Hunter Harrison there put the sledgehammer on the sledge.
Oh, my gosh. Sledge ends up in the backfield there for a loss of several yards. 4th down and 17 now. Nothing going Chaminade Julienne's way. We're down below 9 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. Badin with a 26-7 lead, and they're getting the ball back.
And look where the punt returners are lining up at the Chaminade 40, so that shows you right there they expect good field position.
That's right. High hang time, short kick. Braden Moore receives it, does not fair catch it, receives it at the 42, runs it for about 5 yards, and Badin is going to start this drive. You ready for this field position, Dan? At the CJ 37-yard line.
It's amazing how good kickoff coverage will lead to good field position later for your offense.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, yeah, that kickoff coverage, forcing CJ to start their drive at their own 16-yard line. They lose yardage on the drive. And now here's Badin.
There you go. You got defense, special teams, and now Badin's offense. All 3 phases working here.
Oh, my goodness. Nick Yorty is going to see a lot of things that he likes when he looks at this game film tomorrow.
I mean, Badin is 2-0 this year. Both of their victories were on the road. Here they're at home now in Edgewood. We'll discuss how that came into play in a minute. It's interesting.
Viderick under center. Toss sweep to number 3. That's Lucas Moore. Tucks it up. Cuts it back. Through the CJ defense. I didn't think he was going to get much on that play. He ends up wiggling his way through the defense, knifing his way for 9 yards.
Lucas Moore, kind of a shorter scat back type runner. Has some speed, some good moves.
They lined up with no running backs behind Viderick, but a couple H-backs hanging out behind where the tight end would be on the end of the line, and that was the pitch man from left to right. Badin is going from right to left across your computer screen now, going into the north end zone here at Kumler Field.
2nd 2 yards here.
Viderick takes the snap. 3-step drop.
Nice
Button
play.
hook to Max Lauer. Easy done. Pitch and catch for the Rams.
Keon Owens on the tackle for Chaminade.
Lauer has done a very commendable job tonight, both offensively and defensively, being lined up against what probably is Chaminade Julienne's best and most versatile athletic player.
Absolutely. And Viderick is just very accurate, isn't he? I mean, he gets the ball right there.
He doesn't get rattled.
No, he doesn't.
Nick Yorty described him in the pregame as a quiet leader.
Yes.
He doesn't say a whole lot, but he is absolutely in charge.
He lets his play do the talk and not his mouth. That's what you really want in a leader.
It really is. It really is. Quiet, poise, and the Rams They were down 7-0, and they've never really flinched. They're fine. Rollout. Vitterick has
Nice
an open man in
play.
the slot. Braden Nimhoff. Beener goes up, and he's got enough for a first down, just barely, for the Rams.
Sam Downing Jr., the tackle for Chaminade.
Describe that pass play, Dan.
It was nice. That's all I can say. It's just a controlled, easy throw.
He caught it. He took about, 3 steps to the right. Slot guy was Braden Nimhoff. Ran about 3 yards up. Took an east-west run outside.
First and goal Rams here now. Are they inside the 10 or outside the 10?
They must be inside or at
It
the
would
10
be a
because the
goal.
sticks are
Yeah.
down. They're
Okay,
not going
first
to
and
measure
goal.
anything. First and goal at the 10. Longest possible first and goal for Badin. Handoff. Looks like that's Dallas Rawlings. Up the middle.
Nice play.
6-yard gain.
Nice. I mean, very, very good offensive line play up there, just blowing them off the ball. Badin is clicking on all cylinders right now, folks.
This kind of looks a little bit effortless.
It
for
really
the Rams.
does.
So just in control. You're thinking, oh, that's just a handoff of the middle, 2 yards, and there he's tackled for 6. My goodness.
And the clock continues to roll. Something to think about. We're
That's
under
nice,
7
too.
minutes to go.
Yep. Second and goal. 4-yard line going in for the Rams. Handoff. No.
Quarterback.
Kept it around the right side to the pylon. Landon Vitterick. And there was nobody within 5 yards of him as he ducked it in.
A read option, and they all followed Dallas.
They all followed Dallas,
But
and it
Badin
wasn't
got
Dallas.
the touch. It wasn't touchdown Dallas by
The
Pat
Eagles have
Summerall.
not given up a touchdown to Dallas today,
No, they haven't.
but they've given up several other touchdowns, and a couple of them to Vitterick. So Landon Vitterick's touchdown puts the Rams at 32 points.
We've had 2 consecutive failed extra points. Let's see if Badin can get this right. The last one was a bad snap, and the last one was a wide right.
They're saying the heck with it.
They're going for 2. Enough of this.
Why are they going for 2, Dan? Probably because they can't go for 3, right? That's the old Ohio State line. Yeah. Shift. 3 men. Flag. Let's see what we have here. This is going to be somebody jumping. 3 men moved in motion there from the right,
They're
left
having
side
a
of the
discussion.
line. They're talking about what they want to do here. I mean, obviously the ball had not been snapped. That would have been an illegal shift if they snapped it during 3 men in motion. But
Yes, that's not CFL.
you can do that pre-snap. And they're still huddling and discussing what they want to do here.
It's a big conference here, folks.
3 different flags were thrown.
Did you see CJ jump? Is that what the 3 men?
I didn't see it, but
No.
what's interesting is you have the referee, the umpire, and the side judge all throw flags at the same time.
Come on, guys.
So they're
Make a
talking
decision.
about what they want to do.
Now they moved away from the players, and they're still talking.
They are. They are. I wish we had a microphone.
I think
in
they're
there to hear what they're
discussing
talking
the
about.
French Revolution.
They are. Well, 3 referees, 1 for Father Chaminade, 1 for Father Badin, and 1 for Sister Julie, right?
Wow, this is quite a conference.
Oh, my goodness. So we'll see if they end up guillotining this extra
I'm
point.
going to say no flag. I'm just kidding.
All right, referee says dead ball.
Offside.
Offsides on Chaminade Julienne. Dead ball, personal foul on Chaminade Julienne.
So Badin basically will get the ball at about the 1 yard line, which will make a 2-point conversion that all the easier.
All right, they're going to decline the offsides, and
Well,
they're going
yeah.
to accept the personal foul. They're both half the distance to the goal, so it really does not matter which one gets accepted and which one gets declined. They're going to move from the 3 yard line
To the 1.5.
1.5, which if Baden's going for 2 is
And
a
Badin,
wonderful thing.
it's right in there in that quarterback sneak area. That's worked
They've
pretty
had
well.
success with that tonight, Dan.
Oh, it's been terrific.
They've run it twice, and it's been beautiful. And now, this is interesting as well. Now that they've moved the ball from the 3 to the 1.5,
I just
they're
heard the
gonna send
cut-
their offense out to the sideline, and their kicker is going to attempt an extra point.
I heard the kick. Yeah, the coach just yelled field goal. So that's we'll talk about Madden and one of my flaws with the Madden game in a minute.
I love when somebody jumps offside and they're going to give you half the distance to go for 2. I'm surprised. I don't think I've ever seen a team get an offside penalty and decide, no, we don't want the 2. We're going to kick it here.
This is unusual.
Ball is down.
He got
extra
it
point
easily.
is up, and he gets this one that is Harding. Joseph Harding on the extra point. And so the Bird is officially on the scoreboard now.
33-7. Larry Bird
Larry
leads
Bird, Kelly
Chaminade.
Green, and the Badin Rams up on the Birds 33-7 here at Kumler Field.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Nick Yorty, I don't always know the method to your madness, but whatever it is, I like it. 33-7, Badin Rams. You can't argue with the scoreboard, Dan.
They wanted to earn the 2-point conversion. They wanted to get it in from 3 yards, but when they had a chance to get it from a yard and a half,
they
said, "No, let's just kick it. We're not gonna get greedy
Well,
here."
now the margin is 26 points, and then, of course, the running clock. You ever think you'd see a running clock tonight?
Never.
It could happen if Badin stops CJ here and gets the ball back. It's 6:46 left to go in the third, so there's plenty of time left in this game as Badin has absolutely dominated this thing after the first touchdown that CJ scored. Owens catches over the shoulder at the 15, tucks it and runs. Gets about 8 yards on the return and is met by the Badin Rams coverage team, and it's going to be 1st and 10, CJ at their own 23-yard line. Dan?
Logan Immeroff on the tackle.
What does CJ do here? What can you do?
Well,
I hear the sigh.
That's a big sigh. I really don't know their strengths and weaknesses right now. I mean, they hit a big play early in the game. I don't know, maybe a screen pass to Keon Owens here.
And again,
just something to get him the ball.
I got to give Max Lauer credit. He's been lined up over the top. They actually have double 2 guys on Keon on the left side of the line. They got only 1 receiver out there. Schweinefus is lined up with him, and Lauer as a safety over the top. So they're forcing a throw to Peltier.
Oh, they're
interception.
Badin is rumbling.
Bob Young, here's your running clock.
Touchdown,
all the
Badin.
way into the end zone. So Badin's defense put 2 guys on the left side of the formation covering Keon Owens.
That was an instant replay of the interception earlier in the game. It went right off his hands.
It forces the ball to go to Peltier. The ball again flubs off his hands right into the waiting arms of Bob Young, his second interception of the game, and that one he doesn't have to go down to his knees to catch. He catches it in the air, runs it back roughly about 30 yards on the interception return.
Here we got an extra point lineup for Badin here. 6:33 in the third quarter. It's 39-7, as Joel said earlier, a running clock situation. High snap, and he got it through.
Up and good, 40.
40-7.
Anybody think they have this score in tonight's GCL matchup? The floodgates have opened, and the Badin Rams are up by 33 points here at Kumler Field. We'll be right back.
Performance Toyota Superstore invites you to save. Money, that is. Overstocked pre-owned vehicles have forced us to wholesale direct to you. Our loss is your gain. Everything is on sale. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Every deal will be made. Keep your stimulus check and just show up and drive. If you want it, we've got it. Every style, every color, every model. It's used cars for everyone. Only at your Performance Toyota Superstore. Go to performancetoyotastore.com.
The Badin Rams. Joseph Harding tees the ball up for, what is this, the 7th kickoff of the night, Dan?
He's had a lot of them.
He and Schweinefus have been tag team in the kickoff, so it's been some of Harding and some
Every
of
kick has been from the left hash mark. It's kind of interesting. Maybe they have their better tacklers on the left side.
Side judge blows the whistle and orders the clock to start running. We are in the running clock portion of this game. Who thought we would get to this? Keon Owens from the 15-yard line tucks it up the field.
There goes Keon.
He breaks the tackle. He's down the left sideline all the way out close to the 40-yard line before he finally runs out of real estate. Never does get tackled, but ends up kind of getting funneled his way out of bounds on the play.
That was okay. Yeah, the press announcer was calling him Dwan Lamb, but I thought it was Keon.
It was Keon.
It was.
Yep. All right, so this game is at Kumler Field. All 3 of Badin's home games at Kumler Field. It's being played on a Saturday because Edgewood was home last night. The McNicholas game in Week 6 will also be a Saturday game for Badin here at Kumler because Edgewood will also be home in Week 6 for their SWAC game. Badin, it was reported in the Journal News last year, and I won't get too deep into it, the report about Badin and Hamilton High School and their relationship together and Virgil Schwarm and stadium availability and Hamilton needing it as the shotgun snap, handoff up the middle to Amari Lattimore, a freshman, his first carry of the game.
He got about 2 yards.
Yeah, they're just trying to get everybody in. So, yeah, Hamilton has been scheduling more and more things at Virgil Schwarm. It's been harder and harder for Badin to get a foothold consistently in there. There was talk about moving to Fairfield this year with COVID concerns. I'm sure Badin, Melzer would not tell me, Jeff Melzer's the AD, he would not tell me all of the details of this.
Right.
I'm sure he wants to protect the innocent, protect the guilty, and whatever else, which I totally understand there.
They even considered using the field at Darrell Joyce Park, Walt Bonner Field.
Walt Bonner Field as the quick out goes to Keon Owens, who is out of bounds, which will not stop the clock because the lead is 33 points. Clock is drifting under 5 minutes left to go here in the third quarter.
CJ had thrown 49.
All
but
right.
back to the field.
Yes, so Badin's looking for any option they can take, and I'm sure with COVID and everything else going on as well,
Right.
it was hard enough to find somebody to host your games at, even harder when everybody's trying to limit their own risk and their own exposure in their own stadiums to COVID.
Props to Edgewood. They let Badin rent the field,
Edgewood came
basically.
through and has let Badin rent their field for all 3 home
And this
football
is a beautiful
games.
facility,
It is a
folks.
beautiful facility.
Absolutely beautiful.
Here in Trenton, Ohio, Kumler Field, and Badin could not be more appreciative of the folks at Edgewood, Greg Brown and company,
Ooh.
stepping up for the Rams.
Oh, my goodness. What happened on the field? Sorry about that.
Peltier was the intended receiver.
It was another play to Peltier where the ball was thrown a little erratically. It bounced off Peltier's hands. Badin's player, number 7.
That would be Samuel Webb out there, as well as 25 for the Rams. We don't have a 25.
Badin
on
almost
Badin's
got a
roster.
deflection on an interception again. That's basically what it is. The clock is still running.
It was an intended wide receiver screen rather than the wide receiver slant. It was
Right.
going to be thrown at the line of scrimmage there. Goes through Peltier's hands. Does fall to the ground. Badin unable to intercept the ball. 2nd and 10 now. CJ's got the ball at their own 49-yard line. Play action fake. Pass out to the receiver.
Nice
That again
tackle.
is Keon Owens. Driven out of bounds. And if you're Badin, you can continue to drive people out of bounds because the clock is going to continue to run.
I don't have 23 on the Badin roster.
Yeah, we got a couple Badin players out here that don't have the correct numbers. Do you have one on the other Badin roster? You probably
I
don't
wanna
either.
I want to give him his credit.
We want to give credit, but we got a couple Badin players out there who have numbers that do not match. Cooper Fear out here now covering Peltier on the bottom.
23 on Badin with the tackle. If you're, if your dad and mom, we love to know his name. We have a drop screen pass here.
Keon Owens drops that. It was a ball that was well enough thrown on 3rd down and 4. Unable to convert for CJ. I'm sure they're going to keep their offense on the field. They're across midfield, right? You might as well.
Absolutely.
You can score here. You cut it down within 30 points, and you get your clock back.
Yeah.
I never was a fan of the running clock.
Badin, ironically, has got a guy going back to try and return a punt. Now they were running. Now they're saying, "Get up the line, get up the line."
That's right. He's the safety now in the formation. That's number 81, Eric Rawlings, in the game for the Rams at safety. Yeah, Cooper Fear's in there guarding Peltier. A lot of second stringers out there for the Rams.
CJ
Braden
looking at the
Imhoff out there on
sidelines,
the
waiting.
slot receiver.
Here we go.
Pistol formation, 4th down and 4. Peltier on the slant.
This time the throw was low, is easily catchable. He caught it, and we got a 1st down for CJ. Keeps their drive alive.
Cooper Fear and Caden Starks are both in there. They've not defended that slant pass the way the starters had, and so they're going to have the little learning curve there. We'll see if one of them ends up jumping that route that's been jumped by Bobby Young a couple times
I mean,
tonight.
J.P. Peltier probably said, get the ball a little lower so I don't get Peltiered so much.
1st down, Chaminade Julienne at the Badin 34-yard line. Pistol formation, the snap. Oh, my goodness. He ran the wrong way. Luke Chandler held the ball out to his right.
It looked like an electric football play. Both running backs kind of ran to the side, and the quarterback had the ball out. There was no one around to hand it to.
Amari Lattimore was lined up directly behind him in the pistol. He ran to the left, thinking it was a read option, which it was, and the ball was on the right side. So he runs past his quarterback's back rather than his quarterback's front with the ball extended. Luke Chandler did not have much of an option there.
Hey, give Luke credit, though. He saw the problem, and he still got a yard out of the play.
He tucked and ran, got a yard, 2nd and 9.
We're at 1 minute in the 3rd quarter here, folks.
Running clock at the Badin 33-yard line. Snap, handoff to
Nice
Sledge, who's back in the game, replacing Lattimore. Sledge hammers it ahead for 4 yards. 3rd down and 5.
I mean, it's just a perfect name for a running back, Sledge.
Isn't that Walter Sledge the third?
He's the 3rd.
Apparently
Wow.
there are 2 previous Sledges.
He did his DNA ancestry.
Either that or his name is Walter Sledge I.
Not to be confused with J.P. Barativ, the old
Barativ, the old,
yeah.
or Will Fuller V, who's one of my favorite
Yeah.
Texans receivers. Right?
Yeah, Will Fuller, the
Will
5th.
Fuller V. Handoff goes to Sledge up the middle. He's going to duck down underneath. He's going to get about 2 yards, powering forward. It's going to leave the Eagles with a 4th down and 3 at the Badin 27-yard line, and that will be the last play of the third quarter. Badin Rams break out the GCL potential championship season. I mean, they're looking really good right now.
They're looking strong.
End of the third quarter. Badin 40, Chaminade Julienne 7. We'll be right back from Kumler Field on the Butler County High School Sports Report Radio Network.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Performance Toyota Superstore invites you to save. Money, that is. Overstocked pre-owned vehicles have forced us to wholesale direct to you. Our loss is your gain. Everything is on sale. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Every deal will be made. Keep your stimulus check and just show up and drive. If you want it, we've got it. Every style, every color, every model. It's used cars for everyone. Only at your Performance Toyota Superstore. Go to performancetoyotastore.com.
Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota.
We're back here at Kumler Field starting the fourth quarter of
Now,
play.
last night, if you got to listen to our broadcast, what game was that again, Joel?
Middletown and Kings.
Middletown
They're
and
all
Kings.
bleeding together, Dan.
Joel Sackenheim did his own acoustic version of the Performance Toyota commercial. He did not bring his guitar tonight. I was looking forward to a
The
unplugged
version.
Yes.
Handoff up the middle to Sledge.
Sledge is running hard.
That was a Brett Favre style of fake. You wanted a Favre mention there? Luke Chandler took the pistol snap, handed it to Sledge, and then took his right hand up in the air, making basically a fake throw at the end of the handoff.
That was
a
nice.
Favre move, right?
It was very Favrean or Favrean.
Favre, right? We should call that the Favre. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Inside the 20 now. They are at the Badin 14-yard line trying to reclaim as much clock as they possibly can here in the fourth quarter. Hand up to Sledge, and he is doubled up by a couple of Badin Rams there.
He was hit on the right and the left side simultaneously, but he was a sandwich.
It looks like Matthew Rings was one of the guys that got him, and it looks like the other guy that got him was Caden Starks, the sophomore in there.
Excellent.
Matandy Steel sponsoring this game, proud supporter of Badin Athletics and also Performance Toyota. Never pay more when you shop Route 4. Performance Toyota.
High snap.
Sledge up the middle.
Sledge running hard.
He's going to have a 1st and goal, it looks like, inside the 5-yard line. Badin's defensive line, I'm sure they got a lot of second stringers in, getting first string reps against CJ's starters, and CJ is moving the bodies around a little bit.
Did Sledge play in the first half?
Sledge played in the first half.
Okay.
He was the starter. They had Lattimore out there for a few possessions.
Okay.
And they got Sledge back in there now as CJ
You got
tries.
to cap this drive off with the Sledge man here.
That's right. Sledge hammering it. And
Boom.
short. Ball pops out.
He fumbled it.
But the referee is going to blow the whistle, point to the ground emphatically right away. I mean, he saw whatever he saw. He was very sure and very emphatic.
Yordy on the sidelines looking for his challenge flag, realizing he doesn't have one.
There's no challenge flag.
No,
Just
I
a
know.
beanbag on the 1-yard line. Caden Starks makes the tackle there.
Down by contact.
Down by contact. That's correct. Be a great fantasy football team name, wouldn't it? Down by contact.
That would be great. I say CJ will get in here on this play. We'll see what happens.
All right, they're going to try to get behind that offensive line and push their way to the end zone. Sledge takes the handoff up the middle. Touchdown. EAGLES Eagles. Walter Sledge III.
That was the Walter Sledge show, I'll tell you.
A lot of up the middle runs there.
Great running. It helps CJ to have Badin's second stringers in there on defense, but it was just a nice drive.
The clock continued to run for about 10 seconds after that touchdown. The signal, I guess, wasn't given very clearly right away, and so the clock keeper didn't know And we went from about 9:22 to about 9:12 on the clock before finally it stops. CJ is within 30 points now. The unmerciful mercy rule. And so the kicker, Chad Baird, to go ahead and try to kick the ball up and through the uprights, and it is good. So at 9:12 left to go and stopped on the clock. From Kumler Field, it is the Badin Rams 40 and the CJ Eagles 14.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
I would imagine Baden's going to have their hands clean out here for this game.
Yes. Based on the performance here tonight with the Badin Rams, would you say they're far and away the best team in the GCL co-ed?
Well, I'm not going to say far and away based on a 14-12 score against Alter last week.
Right.
And I would say that Badin and Alter probably might be the two favorites in the conference. With Badin obviously already having beaten them, and if they beat CJ tonight, which they're well on their way to, the only other school I'm going to mention in this conversation, we've seen Carroll. Carroll's 1-2. They beat CJ last week, but I mean, given what Baden's doing against CJ, I don't know that Carroll would give them a whole lot of problems.
Right.
Fenwick is 0-2. Only played 2 games after their first game against Edgewood got canceled due to COVID concerns.
I know what you're
you
going
know
towards.
where I'm going, though.
McNicholas, correct?
The McNicholas Rockets are 3-0.
Right.
Okay. They beat the Northwest Knights 31-21 in their non-conference game. That game looks. That score, you kind of shrug your shoulders at a little bit, but Northwest actually beat Edgewood last night and gave Ross a good run for their money.
And if anyone's seen the McNicholas Rockets mascot, one of the coolest, funniest, cutest mascots going. Have you ever seen it, Joel?
I don't know that I've seen the Rockets mascot. I used to be the Ram mascot.
Oh, I know that.
Some old Badin fans might remember that from back circa 2001, 2002. As the kickoff goes deep, it's not a short kick. Lucas Moore is going to return it around the left side. Got a couple of blocks, spins into a tackle, and is tackled at the CJ 37-yard line.
Let's go back to this Ram mascot, former Joel Sackenheim. They had a fan in the helmet. Is that correct?
They did have a fan.
It worked off a 9-volt battery. Is that right?
Yes, they did. It didn't give you much, but this was the old Badin mascot outfit. It was the white one.
It looked like he looked more like a goat, I think, than a ram, didn't he?
He was very, very big, white and woolly. And when you had days like tonight that were close to 90 degrees and muggy, it was like hell on earth being inside that suit.
There might have been a little stench inside the old goat head.
It was atrocious. But when you get to the last game of the season, or you get deep into a playoff run, and it's 10 degrees outside and everyone's in 3 blankets, it felt pretty good to be out there in that mascot outfit.
You didn't have the fan turned on, obviously.
Here is a handoff to the backup running back, John Russo. And I'm hearing Dirk Allen call him Carter Russo. I'm guessing John might be his first name and Carter might be his nickname. We'll have to listen as Dirk calls him more. Badin also has Dominic Pate, the sophomore, in there at quarterback on this drive. So they're going to go ahead and try to give, offensively, the same as they did on defense, a few guys the opportunity to play against some CJ players.
Badin Ram fans recognize the name Pate.
Oh, Pate.
Pate is a Badin tradition.
Pate was the quarterback. Rick Pate was the quarterback back when I was in high school and was the Ram mascot. Rick Pate ended up with an interception on defense that sealed a 5-overtime victory over Oakwood in the playoffs that junior year that we had. Handoff up the middle. Again, goes to Russo. So John Russo has another 7 yards for the Rams as they are across midfield. It's going to be 2nd down and 3 at the CJ 42-yard line.
He's 5'8", 160. He's not the biggest guy, but boy, he is quick. He'll get some weight. He's a sophomore. He'll hit the weight room. He'll be up to 180, 190.
Indeed.
By next year.
One of the best things about being the Ram mascot back when I was in high school, Dan, was that everything stored inside the head. The head was ginormous. It was oversized.
Oh, I know.
So the body would fold in half and in fourths or whatever, and the 2 gloves and the 2 rubber hooves, and they would all fit inside the Rams' head. 2nd and 3 here for Pate, who had a possible pitch man, opted not to toss it to Russo, and is tackled in the backfield for a loss. It looks like
That was Derek Thomas again.
Brian Jones Jr., 29.
Okay. Oh, the 29 looks like a 24.
It looks like a 24 in the yeah. But Brian Jones Jr., I give you credit, sir. You've had a very nice game defensively today, and he's the one that gets credit. I guess that'd be a sacker unless it's a designed running play there. I don't know how they would stat that statistically.
If you haven't seen the old classic Rams head, we keep coming back to this. I'm sorry, but
it's a gnarly looking thing,
it wasn't the size of Mr. Red's head, I would say.
There were a few children that were a little scared of that face.
I think the stench, maybe.
Hand off to Russo. He's going to bounce it outside for about 5 yards. And the problem was, when I took off the head, the face underneath wasn't much prettier.
Self-deprecation. It always works.
Face for radio, sir. That's why we're on the radio. You can't see us tonight. Yes.
We have a 4th and 2 after another Russo run.
But the best thing you do, you tuck the hoofs and the gloves and the body all into the ram's head, and I would store it in the trunk of my car with the head facing outward. And then at the end of a school day, I'd pick one of the cute girls in my class, and I would toss her my keys and ask her to go up on top of the hill, and can you grab me such and such from my trunk? And I would wait to listen to the scream. And eventually, you know it's coming. You're down at the base of the hill, and they open up the trunk. Whoever it would be would open up the trunk, and you just hear this loud feminine scream, and you knew they saw the ram's head.
Those were good days, weren't they,
Oh,
Joel?
those were great times back in the day. Kairos and everything
I
else.
want to see what's the new Ram mascot look like?
Well, it's a brown-skinned
okay.
ram. So
all right.
it's a little more
cultural diversity in the Rams.
Cultural diversity in the ram. That's right.
That's great.
It's not the snowy white wool. Delay a game, by the way, for Badin on 4th and 3. They're going to.
I don't see the mascot out here tonight.
No, probably COVID concerns there.
It's a COVID
There are some
problem.
comorbidities that come with having sheep's horns. Big, tall punt inside the 20. And it bounces sideways alongside the 20 and is downed.
That was Cameron Wright.
Yep. And at the 20 itself. So
I wonder if
CJ
Cameron Wright is related to Dean Wright.
I was wondering the same thing. We
maybe
saw
a
Dean
great-
earlier today.
Yeah, Dean Wright.
It's an old Badin staple.
Great teacher at Badin.
Saw Father Ed Pratt roaming the sidelines tonight. That man has given so much to Badin. He was Badin's chaplain for a while. He might still officially be, or he might just really love the high school. He was at Our Lady of Sorrows in Monroe back in those days, and I think he's up in the Dayton area now, but he still makes his way down for these football games and helps out with the Badin Kairos program, Gina Helms and all those guys there for Kairos.
Let's set the scene here. It's 6 minutes to go. There is no longer running clock. First down, CJ at the 20. There's just a short run, about a 2-yard gain. Chandler still in there, the quarterback.
Absolutely. Luke Chandler, the quarterback, is still in the game. CJ is not giving up here. Badin's defense, they got some second stringers in there, and it looks like CJ has most of their starters still out there on offense.
I have more respect for Chandler than probably anyone out here tonight. He has been beaten up pretty badly. He's still out there in a 40-14 game with 5 minutes to go.
Durable. 2nd and 7. Set the stage, Dan. Give us a little play-by-play.
Sure.
Handoff up the middle, right?
Absolutely. Great play. You caught me off guard.
I know. I caught you up. I crossed you up. I crossed you up. That was a handoff to Sledge up the middle there. He gained about 15 yards. I'll tell you what that reminds me of, Dan. The first basketball game I ever called.
Yeah.
I was over at Vale Junior High, and I saw an obvious travel right in front of me. Obviously a travel. And I looked at that and thought, why didn't the referee call that? And I realized, I'm the referee. Sledge takes it up the middle.
Sledge is getting some garbage time fantasy points,
That's
as we say.
If you started Sledge in your fantasy league, he's done all right tonight. Picking up
he's
some
got
yardage.
a touchdown run. He's probably got 80, 90 yards now. He's doing all right.
Something of that nature. Scoutin's going to go ahead and email us the final box score when he's done with it downstairs. So
That's good.
The post-game show will be able to give you a couple of stats officially.
I would like to see the gentleman last night had all the great yards for him.
Oh, Ty Stilsky of Kings.
Absolutely.
He was incredible.
He was incredible.
2nd and 6. Chandler fakes it, passes out toward the flat.
Great defense by Badin on the play.
DeJuan Lamb, the intended receiver, he had to sky for that ball and was met at the top by Brady Imhoff. And did you see somebody else that was also in the area?
No, I did not.
Brady Imhoff goes up and kind of meets him also at the high point. He basically just went into the body of Lamb, and Lamb got roughed up by a Ram there, and it's 3rd and 6 for the Eagles.
When you have a Lamb and a Ram combined, God only knows what will happen, right?
Oh, my goodness. It's getting late early here. 4:34 remaining in the fourth quarter of play. Badin.
It's 3rd and 7, even though.
26-point lead.
Yeah, it says 3rd and 7. The scoreboard says 2nd and 7. That's okay.
Pistol formation. Chandler fakes the handoff to Sledge. Pass is hit. Goes backwards.
I would pick that ball up. Okay.
And that is ruled a forward pass, even though it traveled backwards.
They said, the ref made the motion that his arm was going forward.
That's right. His arm was going forward. He got hit as he was getting ready to release the ball. The arm went forward.
The ball went backward.
The ball went backward.
I'm saying that was a fumble. That's why when I was calling it live, I thought the Badin Ram should have picked it up. He did pick it up.
One Ram did pick it up over there, but he's not going to be able to get the running clock going.
If we had the
take
magic of
house.
replay, I would call that a fumble for
That
the
might
Badin
be another
Rams.
challengeable one for Yorty there. Bang,
Yes.
bang play. Referee blew the whistle behind the play. Signaled an incomplete pass. He's looked at Yorty about 2 or 3 times now and made a forward motion with his own arm, the referee has. So Peltier looking to punt this ball here.
Excellent. He can do it all.
Almost blocked by number 14. That's Tommy Hogan. Ball bounces around the 27-yard line.
Friendly roll.
Big hop and rolls dead at the 14-yard line. Badin Rams will start out what might be their last offensive drive of the game at their own 14, and there is a flag and a personal foul on CJ.
Uh-oh.
So we're not going to go ahead and have quite the bad field position for the Rams that we otherwise would have thought. They're going to march 15 yards off and get the Dominic Pate-led Rams out of their own hole here.
We were discussing
Third-
earlier about
29-yard line.
Sorry about
Go
that,
ahead.
Joel. We were discussing earlier about the GCL and the teams we like.
Yes.
Next week, McNicholas will play at Chaminade, so that'll be a nice measuring stick for McNicholas. They're 3-0. Badin will play at Middletown Fenwick, so
Well,
that'll be interesting.
McNick feels very good about their own team.
Okay.
My stepdad, Tim Ryan, is a McNicholas graduate. He's got several friends and relatives still there tied into the McNicholas community. He was at his fantasy football draft this week. One of the people in the fantasy football draft is a defensive coach on McNicholas' staff, and he was talking a lot.
Okay.
Chirping a lot.
Well, McNicholas ends the GCL co-ed against Badin.
And the week before that,
Yeah,
they got Alter.
They got Alter. So, we'll see what McNicholas is made
McNick will
of.
likely be 4-0, feeling really good about themselves.
And then
with
the big
Badin and
boys.
Alter the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the big boys come to town, and we'll see what McNicholas can do.
Third string quarterback Bryson Fox in there for the Rams. Hands the ball off to Carter Russo. And John Russo gets about 0 yards. I mean, didn't get much.
No gain.
We're below 4 minutes left to go in this game, and it's all over but the shouting. Badin is going to avenge last year's loss to Chaminade Julienne in a resounding way, 40-14, and they have controlled this game. Basically, since about the middle of the second quarter, they have controlled this game. It was still close very early on. CJ actually drew first blood.
Yes, they did. And we thought there might have been a shootout here. You know,
We were
Badin's
kinda
controlled
wondering.
offense versus CJ's explosive athleticism. But Badin pretty much shut him down after the first score.
You had the 161-yard touchdown catch on the slant and run pattern by Keon Owens, and that's basically been most of CJ's offense all game long. There's not been a lot there. Badin's defense, give them credit, they've really, really bottled up anything CJ has tried to do.
CJ's coach early before the game, we asked him what kind of offense he ran. He said basically balanced. He kind of said he lost a lot of talent, his senior class.
Russo's got a nice gain here.
Very
Hands
nice
off,
gain.
goes around his right tackle, breaks it out, doesn't really get touched. It was about 15 yards downfield. Nice gain.
It started at the 29. He's all the way up. It was a 21-yard run, actually.
Didn't get touched till about 15. Bounced off another guy. Ends up with a 21-yard gain. And they are at midfield now for the Rams. We're down to the 3-minute mark here as the backups get their playing time and get to play under the Friday night lights in a pretty decent-sized crowd, all things considered.
And they're all social
They're
distancing.
trying to social distance. You can see everyone's making the effort here, which is good.
It's very good. And really, CJ has a good amount of fans on the opposite side
A little
also.
decent contingent there. Not as many as Kings had last night against Middletown. Handoff to Russo up the middle, and he is drugged down by CJ's number 36. That would be Jaleel Twitty. Second time we've called that name tonight. Second down and 6 for the
And
Rams.
I don't think Jaleel is related to Conway Twitty.
I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
Hello, darling.
Sorry, Julio. I bet you don't listen to Conway.
Maybe he does. Who knows, right?
That would be great.
Here we go. We're down below the 2-minute mark now as Dominic Pate is back in there playing quarterback for the Rams. Russo alongside of him. Again, probably more running plays coming. It's a 3-3 defensive line. Pate keeps it on the read option, bounces it outside, looks for a block. He's got about 4 yards on the play, runs into a little bit of traffic there, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 2 for the Rams.
It looks like CJ has a lot of their starters still in there. You can see the size difference between
There
Badin
is a
and
size difference there.
I mean, Badin is definitely smaller.
But you can also see a fatigue difference also.
Yeah.
The bigger CJ players are kind of milling around out there. They've been playing all game long. The Badin guys, not quite as big, being the second stringers, but they've got a tremendous bounce in their step. They've not been playing all game, and they are just thrilled to be out there.
Absolutely. It's nice to see the backups get in here and get some reps.
Dominic Pate hands it off to Russo, looking for the 1st down, and they get it.
Oh, this
the
is
team
great.
is celebrating. They're thrilled.
I mean, the starters are on the bench, and they're just cheering like crazy for
and
the
they're
going to
be a little stunned when the referee actually ends up marking him short.
Oh, that was a bad
half yard
spot.
short. I thought he had it. Referees, I think, had spotted him, and then all of a sudden they kind of walked backwards a little bit.
They're going to make him earn it, Joel.
They're going to make him earn it indeed. They're going to make him earn it indeed.
We're down to 43 seconds to go. 4th and 1. Let's see what happens for the Rams.
Pate at quarterback. Russo, his running back. Trips receivers to the right. 9 seconds on the play clock. Takes the snap. Everyone knows Russo's getting it. He's not going to get the 1st down there.
No, that'll stop the clock. CJ was pretty much right there.
I think everybody in the stadium knew exactly what that play call was going to be.
Well, I appreciate him letting him trying to get the 1st down again. I thought he got it on the previous play,
That's
actually.
right. That's right. For those of you that did not hear our first broadcast of the season up in Oxford, we had Carroll, who Badin's going to see in 2 weeks, against Talawanda. And Carroll's coach, Bird, was talking to us for the game. And we were talking about COVID and how everyone's trying their best to wear masks and social distancing or whatever. Carroll's coach, Bird, actually said to us, we asked him, what is your goal? What's the prognosis for the season? He says, we need to earn next week.
Right.
And normally a coach uses that in a playoff format when it's win or go home. If you lose, you're done. We got to earn our way into the next round of the playoffs. He's using that in the regular season. He's not talking about a win or a loss. He's talking about trying to get through a game and get through a week of class without a COVID outbreak.
Yeah, it's just all about being safe out there, and it's just an unusual season. It's going to be the whole year.
Yeah, we had a late sub running in for Badin with 26 seconds left. We're going to have time. Actually, CJ's going to officially take the time out here. We'll keep it right here with 26 seconds. Badin Rams, they are going to class in person all 5 days a week.
All 5 days, yes.
That's kind of bold of them. I'm thrilled.
Well,
I would want to do that if I were a student. I would.
As a dentist, I've been asking. I have a lot of children in my practice, and I've just done a little survey myself. Half of them are going like Monday, Tuesday. They're cleaning the school Wednesday, and they're doing virtual Thursday, Fridays. Others are doing the opposite. I mean, it's just everything possible. Nice run here by CJ.
Big handoff to Amari Lattimore. And Amari is going to run it from his own 46 across midfield all the way down to the 26-yard line of Badin. Big gain of, 24 and another 6 yards, about 30 yards.
I've noticed that the kids that are doing the virtual school, they say it's hard to be motivated to do that.
Oh, my gosh.
School is a social thing, too.
You got to be there in
person.
person.
It's not all about sitting in front of a computer screen.
Handoff to Lattimore, and that's going to end this ball game here. The Badin Rams are 3-0, an emphatic 3-0. They take it to last year's #1 seed in Division III, Region 12, and they crush the Chaminade Julienne Eagles 40-14.
Just a dominating performance. Once they got the first score, Badin just put their foot down on them. It was beautiful. Beautiful by Badin.
Good day to be a Badin Ram, and for CJ, not exactly the result you were expecting, but you're going to have a ton of stuff on film to look at come next week when they play McNicholas. So we'll be right back after this commercial break to wrap things up here from Kumler Field. It's the Badin Rams 40, the Chaminade Julienne Eagles 14.
Performance Toyota Superstore invites you to save. Money that is. Overstocked pre-owned vehicles have forced us to wholesale direct to you. Our loss is your gain. Everything is on sale. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Every deal will be made. Keep your stimulus check and just show up and drive. If you want it, we've got it. Every style, every color, every model. It's used cars for everyone. Only at your Performance Toyota Superstore. Go to performancetoyotastore.com.
We thank you for listening to a live broadcast on the Butler County High School Sports Report's YouTube channel. We encourage you to check out our website at www.bchssreport.com for all your local prep sports, results, stories, and student-athlete features. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Hey, this is Joey Vogt for The Report. One thing we strive to do here at The Report is recognize the local high school student athletes and their accomplishments to the best of our abilities, which is the reason why we partnered up with Performance Toyota and Rick's Tavern to crown a Performer of the Week. We choose a student athlete from each of our coverage area schools from any sports and let family, friends, and your school vote in the Report's Performer of the Week poll on our website. Tell us who you think should be in our Performer of the Week poll, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
We are back here at Kumler Field as the Badin Rams are all on the field, kind of talking a little bit socially distanced. It's a bigger surface area of their post-game huddle than you would normally see in a typical high school football game as Jordy is addressing his team, and Father Ed Pratt looks like he's going to get ready to pray with the boys. Danny Vogt?
Yes.
Badin Rams. Wow.
They were tough. I mean, I haven't seen them all year. I've been wanting to see them, but I've been, just being able to see high school football in the COVID environment, it's been wonderful. But I knew Badin looked pretty tough the way they beat Ross starting off the season, and they have been rolling.
Coach,
winning at Alter, that's an impressive win, of course, always.
Right, and then, of course, coming and taking out CJ is huge. I mean, that's the only team that beat you going the last 8 of the regular season last year.
We talked to Coach Jordy before the game, and I said, "You think the seniors might have a little revenge on their minds? They lost 17-3 last year." And he said, "Oh yes."
Oh yes. Well, he wanted to execute a little better in the red zone. He wanted to avoid turnovers. They did both of those today. They scored virtually every time they were in the red zone, and they did not turn the ball over once today, did the Rams. Badin, we got the final stats here emailed to us, Dan. How about that?
Excellent, excellent. Look at this.
Total offense was closer than you'd think. Badin 339, Chaminade Julienne 250.
But let me say, I think some of the rushing yards there were, in
the garbage time.
The garbage time.
Starting offense with CJ in the fourth quarter against the second-string defense for Badin.
That being said, though, they're showing us right here, Chaminade had 27 rushes for only 88 yards. So, Schled's there. Schled's the third. Probably got 60 of the 80.
Yep, good job by Badin bottling him up. Badin ends up 36 rushes, 223 yards on the ground. A lot for Dallas Rawlings. He was just a solid guy up the middle. Jack Walsh had the couple of big plays bursting into the outside, resulting in a couple scores, including one that ended up getting called back right before halftime on a penalty on a pass play.
Yeah, I think Badin's got their own version of Thunder and Lightning here.
Oh, my gosh.
Walsh is more the Lightning, and Dallas is the Thunder.
Yep, and Landon Vitterick had a very nice game as well. 13 for 18. That is very efficient for a high school football player.
Absolutely.
It's 116 yards passing. CJ had 162 going through. So Luke Chandler, 10 for 21, 162 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks.
Yes.
One of those was a pick six, fairly costly. Walter Sledge III had 48 yards rushing.
Okay.
He was their most prolific runner. 15 attempts. He only averaged 3.2 per carry, though, and that's really – and a lot of that was in the fourth quarter.
Right. And they shut down Kenyon Owens for the most part. He had the, 70-yard touchdown.
Keon Owens had 6 receptions for 100 yards.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Keon.
a touchdown. So if you start – he's spelled Kenyon, but it's Keon. Yep.
Okay, that's
the
correct.
N is silent.
Well, you take the 70-yard play out of there, and then he has 5 receptions for 30 yards. That's only 6 yards of reception.
If you started Keon Owens on your GCL fantasy team, you still got a solid, 16 points out of him.
Yeah,
You
did.
That's pretty good.
Defensively,
you're not going to see a lot with the defensive tackle. You just sacks, only 1 sack in the all game long for CJ. Landon Viderick did a pretty good job of keeping the ball. And really, the line protected them decently, but the bigger thing I noticed in Badin's offense was them getting the ball out of Viderick's hands quickly.
Yes.
So if CJ got after him, that's fine. It was a 3-step drop, and the ball was already gone.
And Viderick has a gun. I'll tell you, he can sling it, and he got the ball off quick.
Badin, Landon Viderick, 13 for 18, 116 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions,
72%
completion percentage.
The professional quarterbacks like to shoot for 65. He's doing 72 at the high school level.
That's excellent.
That's awesome.
Rushing stats, Jack Walsh, 7 runs, 76 yards, average of 10.9 per carry, 2 touchdowns.
Beautiful.
Russo, 50 yards rushing and mop-up duty. Dallas Rawlings, 11 carries for 45 yards. Those are the thunder, the tougher stuff up the middle. Landon Viderick, 5 rushes. He was super effective when he did decide to run out of the zone read. 2 touchdown runs, one of them on the quarterback sneak, one of them on the read option where he looped around the right side of his offensive line to the pylon. Not a ton of receiving yards required as the Rams more kept the ball on the ground, didn't need to throw it a whole lot. And Nick Yorty's team, they can hurt you in so many ways. I imagine if CJ would have been able to shut down the run more effectively, they'd have been able to throw it better.
Yeah, versatile offense, most definitely.
All the things that you want there for the Badin Rams. So McNicholas will play CJ next week. That is back up in Dayton. So the Eagles will get to go back home and see what they can do against McNick. McNick is probably the most mysterious team in the GCL. Sitting at 3-0, feeling really good about themselves. The assistant coach chirping at Tim's fantasy draft about just how good he thinks McNick is going to be this year, thinking that it's going to be a 3-way race between McNick and Alter and Badin.
That's great. It's nice to see McNick back up.
They were very bad last year. It's
Yeah.
nice to see them getting themselves off the mat, and God bless them that they feel really, really good about their team. They are 3-0. Grandpa Sack would say it's not bragging if you can do it.
That's good.
They'll play CJ next week, a chance to be 4-0. And if they think it really is a 3-way race for the GCL Co-Ed, their last 2 games against Alter and Week 6 against Badin are going to show, because we know Badin and Alter, they measured up against themselves last week, and it was a 14-12 final.
And next week, Badin plays at Middletown Fenwick. And
Franklin Fenwick. They're out of Butler County. Steve Vaughn gets on me all the time for that.
I'm going to call Middletown Fenwick forever. The school's still there, isn't it?
I think it's John the 23rd grade school now.
Oh, okay.
I think it's been
All
converted
right.
into a grade school. Bishop Fenwick, the Falcons.
Okay.
And they are 0-2. They have lost to McNicholas 30-6, and they lost to Alter 49-13. So Yorty, they're going to see the scores. You got to make sure your boys are motivated to go out there. I'm sure Yorty will, and play Fenwick. And then, of course, the Badin Rams will end the season hosting here at Kumler Field the Carroll Patriots and the McNicholas Rockets, and that might be, depending on how McNicholas does against Alter, that might be for sole possession of the GCL Co-Ed crown, which, in my opinion, means a heck of a lot more now
Yes.
than the old GCL Central, where you only needed to beat Purcell Marion and Roger Bacon, and then you're playing McNick with a Central Division on the line. You could win your division and be 4-6 on the season. It's like, congratulations, you won your division, but what did it mean?
Well,
This means something.
And the wildness that will be the playoffs this year, it's going to be very unusual. But if Badin's sitting there with an undefeated record, they're going to have to be a high seed.
Yeah, I mean, the GCL is going to garner respect.
Yes.
And I would imagine that Badin could potentially, remember, it's a coach's vote. So
Right.
I cannot tell you with any certainty what the mathematics of the situation says.
Well, I'm just going to plug Joe Idle's site. I've looked at it over the years. It's very interesting. He knows what he's doing. And the coaches really should look to this site. There's just a computer information. You can see the strength of the schedules. You can see who played who, and just not look at the record and get a good idea. Because that's, they've matched up the computers very accurately. Joel, this is stuff you know about obviously more than I do.
Well, Badin entered tonight's game before tonight.
Okay.
Tied for 5th, not in the region,
Right.
but in the state.
In the state
in
of
Division
Ohio.
3.
Wow.
They've got all on Joe Idle. They've not divvied up the regions. On September 17th, this Thursday, that is the deadline by which each team must commit to the OHSAA. We are in the playoffs or we are not in the playoffs. And so once everybody commits on the 17th, on the 18th, the OHSAA is going to take all of the teams in Division III, and there's probably about 100 of them or so, and they're going to divide it up into 4 equal sections. And at that point in time, Badin will find out who is going to be in their region for sure. I would imagine all of the rest of the GCL teams, except for McNicholas, who is Division 4, would be there in Badin's bracket. Badin could very well get the number 1 seed. It's going to be by a coach's vote rather than by Harbin points, but they're going to be up even higher than 5th in the state after Joe Idle adds in this victory over CJ. Margin of victory doesn't matter, but CJ would also give them some second-level points.
Sure.
By their first
looking
win.
at this list of teams here, in case you guys are wondering, Badin, they got them at 5th, and the only team that is local, Hamilton Ross down there at number 12, and then farther on down, let's see, Franklin.
Franklin is 24th right
way
now.
down at 24th.
And again, divided by 4 to see really where they would really kind of rank there. I'll give you one team to keep an eye on, Dan,
Okay.
and I don't know if this team will end up in Badin's region or not. But if you look at the number 1 line, the team that is 3-0 that has 32nd level points right now and also could potentially be a 1 seed in their bracket, the Bellbrook Eagles.
Okay.
Badin was actually supposed to play Bellbrook in a non-conference game in week 2 of the full 10-week schedule this year. That game, like so many other good non-conference games, the Roger Bacon game, we could have seen Corey Kiner, that goes by the wayside.
Wouldn't that have been great if Badin could have played Bellbrook?
Well, that would have been a Harbin Cow game for either one of those schools. What's interesting about Bellbrook, they are Division 3.
Now, where is Bellbrook school
They are
located?
in the southeastern Dayton region.
Okay.
But they are on the tail edge of what was the region. So there are years where Bellbrook ends up inside Badin's region, and there are years, like the last 2 years, where Bellbrook was the last team on the cutoff on the outside geographically of Badin's region, and they put them with Goshen and Wilmington and some of those teams that are south of Columbus.
Okay.
So depending upon how many schools opt in versus opt out, Bellbrook will be right on that border of whether they will be in Badin's bracket or outside. If they are inside Badin's bracket, it's entirely possible that Badin and Bellbrook in either order will be the 1 seed and the 2 seed, pending the outcome of the coach's vote. If Bellbrook ends up over into Region 11 with those south of Columbus schools going down to the Ohio River in south central Ohio, then Bellbrook is probably the 1 seed in that region, and Badin has a very good claim to being the 1 seed and avoiding Bellbrook until the state semis, if they can continue to win.
Well, if both teams are great, they're going to eventually play each other down the road. That's what you got to look at.
And one other interesting thing, too.
Sure.
Trotwood Madison.
Yes.
Who was the 7 seed that knocked Badin out in the regional finals last year.
I remember the playoff game. I was there.
They are starting to play on September the 19th against Ponitz Tech. They have not played a game yet. They've had 3 weeks of bye weeks due to COVID concerns. We don't know if they will opt in or not.
They have a 3-game schedule, it looks like.
Ponitz Tech, Thurgood Marshall, and at Belmont, and none of those games are going to tell us a darn thing about how good or bad they might actually be this year, because those are 3 not very quality opponents on that schedule.
It's just another wacky thing about the
will
COVID
Trotwood
season.
Madison opt in? I don't know. If they do, will they be in Badin's region? Probably more likely than Bellbrook. And how in the world do you seed them? Because the seeding will take place after the games played week 5, so they'll only have 2 games against lowly Ponitz Tech and lowly Thurgood Marshall to be able to evaluate how in the world you put them on a seed. I don't know how you do that.
I know
Reputation?
you said points don't mean anything, but if they go out and win 50-0 and 60 is
the margin of victory might be a little bit of a clue there to the coaches.
Yeah, that's all they can do.
You know, Roger Bacon, to wrap up this conversation, we talked about them. They're in Division 4, so McNicholas may end up seeing them in a playoff run. They're currently not scheduled to play them either this year. Corey Kiner last night. The Roger Bacon Spartans beat Norwood 82-28.
I know.
Kiner had 363 yards rushing.
Mr. Ohio.
And 7 touchdowns. And maybe the stat, as impressive as that sounds, 363 and 7 touchdowns, 17 carries.
Yeah. What's that? That's over 20 yards a carry.
What in the world? I mean, you give it to him, and half the time he's going to score from anywhere on the field. I mean, what do you do with that? So
you just relish at it.
All right, we could talk all night, but we're going to go home and watch some college football, Clemson, Wake Forest, whatever. The Badin Rams go to 3-0 on the season after defeating the Chaminade Julienne Eagles emphatically, 40-14 for Dan Vogt, for Chris Vogt over at the Red River Gorge on his anniversary with Amanda. Yeah, some people aren't watching football. They're with the girly girls, right? For Joey Vogt and all the other Butler County High School Sports Report personnel, this is Joel Sackenheim signing off from Kumler Field, 40-14 Rams.
Good night, everybody.
Performance Toyota Superstore invites you to save. Money, that is. Overstocked pre-owned vehicles have forced us to wholesale direct to you. Our loss is your gain. Everything is on sale. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Every deal will be made. Keep your stimulus check and just show up and drive. If you want it, we've got it. Every style, every color, every model. It's used cars for everyone. Only at your Performance Toyota Superstore. Go to performancetoyotastore.com.